and forth 100 times just to get a price? Give me your credit card for a test drive? What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairies Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Swing it high, drive, dead away center. Back he goes, and that one is gone. Well, here with another multi-home run game
On Sports 1440.
It's hammered right field. Home run for Warner, it's 5-1.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Will explode on the next bucket.
It's just after 2 o'clock. Thank you for joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, you've got the Gold Ball jackpot, $42 million tomorrow, $1,000 a day. And then on Friday, the Lotto Max worth $25 million. Check it out, PlayAlberta.ca. We've also got our daily specials with the Jason Gregor Show. I'll let you know what those are in just a second here. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. He'll be back tomorrow from his vacation. We got Declan Kruger keeping us on track. Mackenzie McLennan here as well. And intern Connor. Lots of us in the old Sports 1440 studios as we roll through the next 4 hours here on this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day so far. Busy show today. Lots to get to on the program. Jays are in action right now, tied at 3 with the Houston Astros in the bottom of the 6th. We'll keep you up to date on that one as we scroll through the day. We're going to be talking to JC Abbott from 3 Down Nation. Take a look at the CFL. Gino Lewis, where could he end up? Vernon Adams has been outstanding this year. What's been the difference from last year where, he was throwing way more interceptions? This year on the year, 21 touchdowns to no INTs. We'll see what JC has seen from the Edmonton Elks. Despite the loss against the Rough Riders, how does he look at this team? And we'll preview the weekend's matchup as Week 10 in the CFL gets going very, very quickly. Paul Sir is going to join us as well. Of course, the host on Hoop City. They're in their summer break, but you can typically hear Hoop City right here on Sports 1440 or on Sports 1440 AM on YouTube, Saturdays from 10 till noon. Sad news for the Edmonton basketball community as Jamie Burns, the co-owner and managing partner of the Edmonton Stingers, passed away yesterday. We're going to talk to Paul, of course, has ties with the organization and has been a staple in our city. So we'll talk to him about Jamie and the legacy he leaves. We'll also look at the Stingers this year and the NBA offseason. It's been crazy. What happens with LeBron James going to Philadelphia, the Raptors? Will they ever get Kawhi Leonard? We'll find out with Paul Sir coming up towards the end of this hour. I'll also hear from Steven Ellis of Daily Faceoff. Canada right now at the Hlinka Gretzky 2-0. They defeat Switzerland 7-3 to kick things off. Then yesterday they beat Slovakia at 6-1. They'll play Sweden later on today. Well, 3 hours. Canada 2-0. Top spot in Group A. Sweden has an overtime win and 1 loss. They're third in the group. So a big game for Sweden. Canada, it looks like they'll cruise to top spot. The U.S. top spot in Group B. Jen Mueller's going to join us, the Seattle Seahawks sideline reporter. Of course, the defending Super Bowl champions, getting ready to get going once again this season. We'll talk a little backfield talk. We know Kenneth Walker left, went to Kansas City, signed the extension there. They used the draft. They've got a really good team there. The biggest problem could be in division. The LA Rams have loaded up once again. They have a very good team. And then they just go add Myles Garrett. They were the biggest problem for them last season. If the Seahawks are 1, then the Rams are just a step below. So we'll talk some NFL there. We got the round table at 4 o'clock with the Declan Kruger and Mackenzie McLennan. Jason Strudwick will join us at about 4:20. We'll do a variety of topics with old Struddy. 5 questions, spec, Cam Tate, and the stats of the day. Taking a look at home run milestones in Major League Baseball. So lots to get to. Of course, you can join us 1-833-401-1440 is the text line, or head over to YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. You can join the chat right there. I mentioned we have some bets going on over at playalberta.ca, the Gregor Show special. Dex selects today the Atlanta Dream to cover the 7-point spread, the New York Liberty to cover the 8-point spread, and the Mystics, we're just going to go money line at home. Also, point night. We're going to go Tigers, Mariners over. We need 8+ runs. Padres, Diamondbacks, 9+ runs. And the Twins, Royals, 9+. Point night. It makes sense. Of course, all of those get boosted as well. So check it out, playalberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense. And yeah, it should be a fun show today. Declan, you're here. What's going on? How's the day going?
It's been pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, pretty good. Men's league soccer tonight. No game last Wednesday, so legs are going to be a little rusty, but
fresh.
Well, that's the opposite of rusty. So I don't know if they can be fresh if they're rusty. But no, I mean, things are going well.
You'll be rested. I mean, your touch might not be there, but the leg should be feeling good, shouldn't they?
I don't know. I think isn't it at this big age, isn't one of the things you got to stay in it a little bit more
yeah,
frequently? You know?
Yeah, get the foam roller out there before the game and after the game, probably. Might be a good way to do it. We saw the news today coming down earlier. Stephon Diggs signing a 1-year deal with the Washington Commanders. This one made a lot of sense when I heard it. It probably wasn't a landing spot initially where I thought he might end up, but they need some receiver help. They have a very good young quarterback in Jaden Daniels who needs to stay healthy. I like this one for them. Now, we are seeing people saying, well, this must mark the end of Brandon Ayuk to the Commanders. I think that ended a while ago. There was initially some talk. It made sense. And then you had all these off-field concerns with Ayuk. And I feel like that kind of squashed it. I don't think they wanted to bring that into their locker room. Stephon Diggs has had some issues. There's been some charges, some distractions. But this guy's produced wherever he goes. So that's a pretty good move. 1 year worth up to $12 million for the veteran receiver. I like it. We'll see how it pays off. Is it a long-term fix? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be looking to bring him in for a long time after that. But when you look at this Commanders team, and this is a team that a couple of years ago went to the NFC Championship, where they got beat pretty handily, but they showed signs. Terry McLaurin has some good football left in him. They've got a lot of guys that I think have upside, but I'm not too positive about it. Luke McCaffrey, I will say, when in his rookie year, I was all over that in fantasy football. I thought he might be a steal. Treylon Burks, shown flashes. Hasn't lived up to that first-round billing when he was drafted. The Tennessee Titans took him when they moved on from A.J. Brown. Had the heck of a catch, though, last year. One-handed. Looked a little bit like Odell Beckham Jr., but they've got Dynamic Brown. You've got Van Jefferson. You have a lot of good. I think they need a little bit more there. The backfield, I have some questions with for the Commanders. Corey Krosky, Merritt, Bill, otherwise known as Rashad White, was a good player with the Buccaneers, but there's still a little bit of concerns for me. I wonder if they might look to add a few more veteran players on that roster. Defensively, it's totally rebuilt. They went out to free agency, bring in a nose tackle, Tim Settle, Odafe Owe from the Chargers, Luchin out from the Kansas City Chiefs. a whole lot of new pieces, but I am fired up to see Sonny Styles, linebacker, number 52. The guy is quite the specimen at the position. Now, we're going to talk some Elks as well. Of course, getting ready to take on the Montreal Alouettes on Saturday. Jason Moss, formerly of the Edmonton Elks, quarterback of the Eskimos. He's going to hopefully be joining us in the next couple of days here to talk a little bit about the season for them so far. They look very good. Not the toughest division conference, but we shall see. I know, Declan, you guys had talked a little bit about the Mike Sando quarterback rankings this season, and it's a fun list where Mike Sando reaches out to management around the NFL and kind of gets their thoughts on the quarterback tiers. I was a little bit surprised here that Patrick Mahomes still has the pull that he has. He had one voter have him outside of tier 1. He's in the number 1 spot. I don't, personally, after last season, I really like Josh Allen. I kind of like what Matthew Stafford did. He won the MVP. He threw a ton of touchdowns. The only concern for him might be that back, but you got Mahomes coming off the knee injury. Jack, if we're just looking at this top quarterback rankings list, any surprise with Patrick Mahomes being in the number 1 spot? Because I've got some questions there.
Yeah, it brings up an interesting question because no, I don't think he still deserves to be number 1. And I think most people would probably agree with that based on, what we saw last season and what we've seen some other quarterbacks do. But the one that you brought up with this article that is maybe even a better question for me is I still wouldn't have him outside of the first tier.
Mm-hmm.
That seems a bridge too far. And I do think body of work has to factor in a little bit at least. I know it's a what have you done for me lately list, and that's why I don't have him number 1. But to have him completely removed from the first tier, that seems a little disingenuous to what he's done and even still who he is. But there is no way he should have been number 1 over. I think there are probably 4 quarterbacks right now who I think deserve to be number 1 over him. Possibly more.
I mean, he hasn't thrown 30 touchdowns in 2022. That's not the highest bar for Patrick Mahomes. That's 2 touchdowns a game.
I've been saying this. We need to stop pretending 2018 to 2022 Patrick Mahomes is taking the field every weekend. He's not. That quarterback that we saw that was amazing and 50 touchdowns his first year starting and MVP, Super Bowls. That guy is not taking the field on Sundays anymore. What was he as a starter last year?
Would have been under 5.
Would have been under 5. You're absolutely right, Connor, because they weren't a playoff team, right? So and I get that there is some respect for what he's done, but number 1, no way. There's no way. On August 5th, 2026, are you taking him over Josh Allen?
No.
I know he's busted Josh Allen's balls all across the playoffs. I get that. But right now, today, there is no way I'm putting him higher than Josh Allen on a quarterback ranking list.
Yeah.
None.
No, I'm totally with you. And just going through these lists here, 2 voters at Josh Allen in tier 2. What are we
doing? What are we doing?
You watch the highlights, you watch the play in Denver, and you know what? That drops him out. Other than that, a lot of times he's doing it a lot by himself. I think in the passing game, I think the Bills have had a hard time finding QB1 or wide receiver 1 for him. They've got some 2s. I still think they have good number 2 receivers. James Cook's a stud. I'm not going to be on the bandwagon of letting him. I think he's unbelievable. But yeah, I'm with you. And what Matthew Stafford did last year, how do 2 people have him in tier 2? Who are these voters? I would love to have them exposed, but he still falls into tier 1. Joe Burrow, tier 1.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt. The only bit of credence I can give to that with Matt Stafford is his age. If that's their logic, I can buy that.
And it's fair if it happens. But
it hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened. Yeah. If the back keeps them out, then okay, that person's totally justified in their move. But until it does, I've got questions. Tier 2, Lamar Jackson, I think it's fair. Justin Herbert, I would say so as well. Now, 3 voters actually had Justin Herbert in tier 3. He's a polarizing figure. Go watch his film, watch his throws. Dak Prescott, tier 2, an interesting one as well. Drake May, for a guy who was second in the MVP voting last year, 37 out of 50 votes had him tier 2. I've been as rough and tough on Drake May, but I feel like that might be a little interesting. We'll see how it goes going into next season. Jared Goff in there as well. And then you've got Jordan Love. So MTR won't like that one, but Jordan Love gets in. He's tied, actually, I believe, with Brock Purdy. No, sorry. Brock Purdy's tied with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had no tier 1 votes. Fair. But I think at the end of this season, we might look at him that way because he's done a really good job. He doesn't throw that many interceptions. Jaden Daniels right there as well. Baker Mayfield tied with Sam Darnold. That's an interesting one because you look at Baker Mayfield, kind of that gunslinger, but Sam Darnold has the ring. That doesn't go anywhere. That's there forever. Trevor Lawrence at 16. Jalen Hurts, 17. Guy's got a ring. Declan, does it make sense? Jalen Hurts might not be a top 10, top 15 quarterback, but he's a top 15 football player. Like, he's going to be doing it with his legs as well. He can kind of will you to victory.
Well, the thing with Jalen, like, no one's tougher on Jalen Hurts than me. And a lot of that comes from my disdain for low tide. However, I don't think you can tell me there are 16 quarterbacks better than Jalen Hurts. Like, I have to give him that credit. Because throwing the ball is one aspect of being a quarterback. Playing within a system, that's another. Like, what you can do with your legs. That's a big reason Josh Allen is up there in tier 1. That's a big reason Lamar Jackson has won those multiple MVPs. Like that, Jaden Daniels as well. Like, that's the reason he was shot up a little bit higher than Jalen Hurts. Like, you can't just ignore that. So I do think Jalen Hurts has some really significant limitations throwing the ball, which is very important for a quarterback. But if you're trying to tell me you're taking 16 quarterbacks ahead of him, I don't know if I can buy that argument.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if we were doing the old Pro Bowl quarterback competition, you got to throw targets and throw as deep as you can, keeping it inside the hash marks. Yeah, Jalen Hurts probably is not going to be elite, but then on Sundays, he's winning football games. Sometimes he's rushing for 3 touchdowns. Even if they're tush pushes, he's getting the job done, leading a pretty good offense. He's got the Super Bowl ring where he was incredible. That one just seems a little bit low to me, but someone's got to be in that spot, I suppose.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
The last 4 there, Michael Penix, Jacoby Brissett, J.J. McCarthy, Shedeur Sanders, in that order. Do you think they got that right?
The last 4. Okay, hold on. I had to scroll down. So tier 4, Malik Willis.
No. Just the last 4 of tier 4. Penix, Brissett, McCarthy, Sanders. Is that how you would have had those bottom 4 ordered?
Ooh, pretty close. I mean, I'm hoping that J.J. McCarthy, as a former first-round pick, guy won a natty, like, could be better. Right now, we don't know. Shedeur Sanders is the lowest quarterback in the league. Yeah, probably. I mean, right now, from what we've seen, I'd have him down there. I feel like Jacoby Brissett, he's been a pretty good vet for that team. Is he that low, even below Penix? I would disagree with. I'd probably, to start a game today, I think I would take Jacoby over Penix. Other than that, I'm probably okay with it. And these can all change by week 3. Why? Do you have a problem with this?
No, I was really just kind of curious your thoughts. Like, do I really think Shedeur Sanders is the worst quarterback in the NFL? Do I think he's the worst quarterback in his own team with Deshaun Watson right there? I probably do, but I think it's a really fun thought exercise. Because honestly, like, if you were starting a franchise right now, would you take Shedeur over JJ? I feel like I might.
I don't think so.
That's fair.
But I can't argue that. I might be like, we're taking JJ and we're going to establish the run and let him go after that. The Malik Willis, I'm hoping for him. Like, that guy, I'm hoping that he can have a jump in the numbers. MTR asking, where is Stroud on that list? Well, he's got to be tier 3, right? Cam Ward is tier 3. They have him at the 25th ranked. CJ Stroud is 20. 1 ahead of Daniel Jones. He has 37 out of 50 tier 3 votes. But 3 playoff wins. Great defense. Drake Cupcake May, definitely tier 2. Malik Willis from Brett from Stoney. Yeah, he's asking about that one. He's tier 4. That's tough. Tough business, results driven. That being said, this is his real kind of first go to be the guy. So will it last long? Heck, they might Deck, who's their backup quarterback there from Texas? Had the mullet for a little while in Miami. Can't think of his name.
Quinn Ewers.
Could he put some pressure on Malik? I mean, Malik got very handsomely paid. They probably will have some faith in him. Where is BCB? Who's BCB? Follow up with me on that one. Bo Nix tier 3, top of tier 3, 18th overall. He can win games as easily as he can lose games. Has he really been the problem, Broncos fans, in any of their losses? He's missed some plays here and there. But I guess I'd have him tier 3 right now. But that's a guy to me who could jump up into tier 2. Oh. Big C Brock. We did that one. I mentioned that very quickly in passing. I think he's still tier 2. He's above your boy Jalen Hurts, MTR.
He's tied for 11th with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
But he is one spot below Jordan Love.
MTR is not going to like hearing that. The bane of his existence, Jordan Love. One ahead of Brock Purdy. Stronger than you think. Faster than you think. Better than you think. Yeah, I mean, I watch Brock Purdy and I don't know, he doesn't wow me, but he just picks apart defenses and gets the job done. That's probably all you can ask for an NFL quarterback. We'll take a quick break here. Lots to get to on the show today. Connor Halley, Duncan Cougar, Mackenzie McLennan sitting in for Jason Gregor. We've got Speck, Cam Tate. Struddy will be by. Jen Mueller, the Seattle Seahawks sideline reporter. Steven Ellis of Daily Faceoff. Paul Sir. And coming up next, JC Abbott from 3downnation.com. We'll talk some CFL. Is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood.
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Fundraise for your team or charity at On the Rocks. They'll make custom tickets for your event that includes no line, cover, and one drink for your event. You keep the profits. Learn more at ontherocksyag.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$225. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and intern Connor sitting in with you here today. Jays are in action, still tied at 3, top of the 8th. Got out of a jam earlier as they continue to keep their thin playoff hopes alive, trying to get back into this one after yesterday's loss. We'll keep you up to date throughout the show on how it's going for you, but right now we're going to take a look around the CFL. In the CFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with a no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca, as we are going to talk some CFL football with JC Abbott. Covers the league with 3downnation.com. JC, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this today. And of course, it's been a really good start for the Edmonton Elks. We'll get to that in a second. But some headlines earlier on this week with the Ottawa Redblacks making changes with the coaching staff, and Gino Lewis, who, a proclaimed superstar in the CFL. Probably a little bit of surprise to see him hit the market, but I would think there'd be some interest from one team at least to bring him in. Do you think he lands with a team sooner than later? And if so, any spots you think would fit?
Well, when I look at Gino Lewis at this stage of his career, I don't necessarily think that he's a number one option anymore, but he's still a competent player. He's better than that even, and he can be a contributor on your offense. But when I look around the CFL, I'm not sure there's a ton of landing spots where there's an immediate need for him right off the bat, right? I think this is a situation where you wait a couple of weeks and you see what happens in terms of injuries, and then that's when you identify the landing spot for Gino Lewis. I know some people have brought up Saskatchewan. Samuel Emlis and Keon Schaefer-Baker look banged up right now. Of course, they're Canadians, so that would require a ratio shift. But if those guys are out long-term, potentially that's a fit there. I think if you look anywhere else across the CFL, if one of the key starters goes down, that makes Gino Lewis a fit anywhere because he can seamlessly slide into an offense and bring you back up to an acceptable level of production. I just don't know that there's going to be a bidding war for his services right off the bat.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And I think that's probably good for him to just have a little patience there and wait for the ideal landing spot as time goes on. Injuries happen in football. We see it all the time. Now, I want to ask you about the hometown team here, the Edmonton Elks. Of course, 6-2 on the season, coming off the loss against the Saskatchewan Roughriders on Saturday. Even in the loss, though, it was beautiful to see 31,000 fans in Commonwealth Stadium. Just looking at this season as a whole for you with the green and gold, what has been the most surprising aspect of this team?
Well, I think the most surprising aspect has been just how much of a step forward the defense has made. I mean, we saw it at the end of last season how much they improved, but we didn't know if that would continue on, right? If that was just a team finally figuring things out, or if they would regress to what we saw at the start of last season when J.C. Sherritt first took over. And it's clear that J.C. Sherritt has taken a step forward as a coach. It's clear that they've added key pieces here and that the guys that they already had in place have made this one of the best defenses in the CFL. So I'm not sure if it's totally a surprise, but it was a question. Was it going to be the same unit we saw at the end of the season or at the start of the year in 2025, in 2026? And I think we've got a definitive answer at this point, and that this is a elite defensive unit from the Elks. I think they've been absolutely fantastic to this stage of the season.
Now, one of the players who I think gets a lot of attention from the opposition would be running back Justin Rankin. But you go back and you look at the last 5 games, he's only went for over 40 yards in one of those games. It was against Ottawa where he went for 107, had a couple touchdowns. I think there still is the respect on him. When you're out there, you have to watch for what he can do because he is very slippery, not only as a runner, but as a receiver. What do you think is going on with the run game in Edmonton? Do you think it's just defenses kind of saying if we're going to get beat, it's not going to be by Justin Rankin? Or is it just kind of just him slowing down a little bit here?
I don't think it's him slowing down. I think it's exactly what you said. Defenses are keying on Justin Rankin, and they are challenging Cody Fajardo to beat them with his arm, right? And I think that's been something defenses have been comfortable doing with Cody throughout his career, and that's no disrespect to him. He's proven himself to be a capable starter in this league, a guy who can win a Grey Cup, but he's not necessarily in that upper echelon of elite quarterbacks when you talk about it across the Canadian Football League. So defensive coordinators are saying, we've got the best running back in football here. We know what he can do if we allow him the space to beat us. So we're not going to allow him that space. And instead, we're going to challenge Fajardo to beat us with his arm. And to Cody's credit, I mean, that 510-yard performance against Saskatchewan 2 weeks ago proved that he can absolutely do that. But I think that's the strategy that defenses are going to continue to deploy until there's a larger sample size of him beating them with the air attack.
Now, last time the Alouettes and Elks met, Justin Rankin had 179 yards on the ground, another 51 through the air. So one of his best performances in a game where they needed it. It was a 32-29 final. That was the one that went to overtime. A fun one down at Commonwealth. As we are talking a little CFL football here on the Jason Gregor Show, Connor Halley sitting in with JC Abbott from 3downnation.com joining us on this show. Now, when you look at the Montreal Alouettes, the opposition on Saturday, Davis Alexander has been terrific, leading the CFL in passing yards. He's only thrown 1 interception, so ball security has been something that they've definitely keyed on. His head coach probably emphasizing that, former CFL quarterback Jason Moss. But they've also got 2 dynamic receivers. What is the key for the Edmonton Elks here to try to slow down this passing attack?
Well, I think you've got to be able to find a way to get pressure on Davis Alexander, which at this stage of the season, nobody has been able to do. Now, Alexander is a mobile quarterback. That makes things harder. We all know what he can do with his legs, but he's not a run-first guy. If you can keep him in the pocket and disrupt him, you should be able to slow down that passing attack. But right now, the Alouettes have what I believe is the best offensive line in the CFL, or at least playing at highest level. They have not allowed a lot of pressure on Davis. And when they have, Davis has been able to escape. I think you have to box him into the pocket. I think you have to take away the deep throws and really force him to try and check it down or create off-schedule plays and then take advantage from there. It's a tough task. No doubt about it, because this is an MOP caliber quarterback. I think he's challenging Nathan Rourke for the title of the best QB in the CFL, but pressure on all quarterbacks is the great equalizer. And if you can get pressure on Davis Alexander, I think that makes you better defensively.
JC, what did you learn about the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the last couple of weeks here? Obviously a tragedy losing a teammate and another victim essentially lost. They play the game against the Elks and lose. They suffer some injuries, but then they go on the road and find a way to win. Pretty impressive, I thought, from the Roughriders.
I think we learned what we already knew about them, which they were a veteran team that knows how to win and knows how to overcome adversity, right? as much as they were dominant last season in terms of their record and getting to the Grey Cup and winning it, they didn't blow teams out of the water, right? They led a lot of opponents back into football games and found unique and creative ways to win games. That has been true again this season when adversity has been presented to them both on and off the field. And I think what Corey Mace has imbued in this team is a sense of confidence, a sense of identity. These guys have been through it all together. They've seen it all. They've won it all in every circumstance, and they're not going to be scared when they face a deficit or when they face a strong opponent, or even when they're beaten by a strong opponent, and they'll come back swinging the very next week. So Saskatchewan can't be counted out at any stage of this season because of that level of experience. It is truly immensely valuable for a football team to have that knowledge and that veteran savvy, and the Riders have it in spades.
JC Abbott of 3 Down Nation joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Now, JC, if you call me out if I'm wrong here, but I've got Edmonton, Saskatchewan, Montreal as those tier 1 teams. And then I've got the mushy middle, how I look at it. Calgary, Winnipeg, BC had a great game. Xander Horvath was terrific. Toronto, Hamilton. Of those teams, who do you think we should be watching out for kind of in the second half of the season to make a push? And is there any team that you think might fall off?
Well, there's 2 teams that jump out to me. First of all, the Calgary Stampeders, I think, are a real dark horse here. What they've been able to do the last few weeks has been legit. I think their offense is explosive when Vernon Adams Jr. is clicking. I mean, he still hasn't thrown an interception to this point in the season, which is pretty remarkable given the fact that we're in week 10. And their defensive line is incredible, right? The talent that they've got from Clarence Hicks to Flarin Armalade to Jalen Hutchings. Like, you could make an argument over the last 2 seasons that any of those 3 guys could be in the conversation for most outstanding defensive player. And they continue to click and create pressure at an incredibly high rate. That makes it difficult for opponents. So the Stampeders are my dark horse right now. And I don't think you can count out the BC Lions, right? A lot of people have written them off because of the 2-5 record, but keep in mind, 2 of those games that they've played were without Nathan Rourke. 3, if you count the game that he exited on the first series with the injury. And then at the start of the year, when they lost a close one to the Riders and they started out winless, they were missing 4 starting receivers, right? This team was decimated at a position early in the year like I've never seen before in the CFL. I think they're more talented than what their record would suggest. I think the defense has finally figured things out. And with Nathan Rourke likely coming back this week, and we all know what he's capable of, I think the Lions could be a team that really turns it on in the second half of the season and surprises some people to get back into the hunt.
Looking out at the Ottawa Red Blacks, and obviously they make the changes with their defensive coordinator firing William Fields after just a terrible start to the season. Now, this is Ryan Dinwiddie kind of taking over this football team, the head coach and the GM. Is this kind of just the expected growing pains we're seeing here in Ottawa, or is there more to it? Do you think there's some real concern for this organization?
I think it's more than just expected growing pains, right? You do think that there's going to be, some learning curve with a new coach, but the idea was that Dinwiddie was going to be brought in to fix things, have an immediate impact. That hasn't been the case. They brought in a number of players on the field to fix things and have an immediate impact, and they have not lived up to expectations to this point either. I think there's a real problem that goes to the root of the Red Blacks organization in terms of them not knowing how to win football games. And it's going to take a long time for Dinwiddie to really reinstill that in the locker room and to find the pieces that bring that mentality. It's not going to happen overnight, as it's been proven thus far. And I think it's worse than anyone could have expected right now. Now, I don't believe Ottawa will go winless. I've been asked that a ton this week. I don't think that's a realistic possibility. They will find a way to win a few football games here. Most teams always do. There's never been a winless team in CFL history, but there's never been an 0-7 team make the playoffs either. And this is a lost season for a franchise that could ill afford to have more lost seasons. You're seeing it at the turnstiles with fewer people showing up at the stadium. And they're going to be in tough here with some of the renovations that are coming up in the next few years at TD Place, where their capacity is going to be reduced. So they can't really afford to have these smaller crowds. I think this organization has to take a hard look at itself from top to bottom. And obviously you're not going to be moving on from Ryan Dinwiddie right yet. You're going to give him time to figure this out. But there has to be other changes here, because right now there's not enough talent on the field, and the talent that they do bring in hasn't been utilized correctly. And that has been a problem for half a decade at this stage.
Great stuff, JC. Really appreciate your time today. What's coming up at 3downnation.com?
Well, we've got you covered with all our picks for the week, slowly trickling out tonight and tomorrow. And then we'll be covering all the games this week with recaps from every single franchise and all the hard-hitting news and analysis you come to expect from us. So keep it locked on 3downnation.com.
Great stuff, JC. Thanks a lot for doing this. We'll talk to you later.
It was my pleasure.
There you go. JC covering the CFL with 3downnation.com. Good rundown there. And I think that's very accurate with what's going on with the Ottawa Redblacks. And, you brought in a new guy. There's going to be a bit of a culture change, a shift. The field, I didn't even know about that. Making some changes to TD Field or TD Place. I've looked at the real estate across the street from it. Very expensive. But it's a bit of a mess there in Ottawa. And wouldn't that be something to see a CFL team go winless? Pull the old Detroit Lions, Cleveland Browns type of thing. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about the loss of a local basketball legend. I mean, one of the co-founders of the Edmonton Stingers. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the playoffs as the Stingers in action tomorrow. Brawls in the CEBL. We'll talk some NBA as well. We'll be joined by the host of Hoop City, Paul Sir. Coming up next, it is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels, the Tall Boy, Radioactive, Curves, the Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Day or night, tasting just right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Plus, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at sherbrooke.liquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
For 2:45, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Kenzie McLennan with you here, getting you through this Wednesday afternoon. Lots to get to still on this show. Of course, the Jason Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Gold Ball Jackpot, $42 million tonight. Also tomorrow, you got the Daily Grand. Then on Friday, the Lotto Max, $25 million. PlayAlberta.ca to chance to win. Remember, use your game sense. Right now, when we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net as we are joined by the host of Hoop City, which you can hear on Sports 1440 Saturdays at 10. Currently in the off season, but when it all gets going, they'll be back. Paul Sir. Paul, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Connor. Good to be with you.
Yeah, how's the summer been?
In the middle of summer. It's always
good. It doesn't really stop. How's your summer been so far?
It's been good. Weird, but good. Weird for a variety of reasons. Things that were planned didn't happen, but will happen now. So grateful for that. And aside from the monsoons and the mosquitoes, loving the summer.
Good to hear. And there was some sad news yesterday as we found out that Jamie Burns, who was the co-owner, chair of the board of directors, managing partner of the Edmonton Stingers, had passed away. And just wanted to bring you on to just share your thoughts on that. I know you have a long relationship with the CEBL and the Stingers, and I thought no one better to discuss it than you. So sad news, obviously. Maybe just start just kind of the legacy for Jamie Burns in our city.
Anytime anyone, Connor, steps up and walks the walk in terms of investment into sport in our city, you have to give them special accolades and really be very, very grateful for the kind of investment, risk, and sacrifice, quite honestly, that several people have made over the decades in terms of bringing sport into Edmonton. And Jamie is certainly one of those figures. It's a tragic loss, unexpected. I have talked to several people. Nobody knows exactly what the cause of death was. And it really surprised everyone that I've spoken with. It was something totally unexpected. Jamie stepped in as one of the first private owners in the CEBL. People familiar with the league, which is now in its 8th season, know that a gentleman named Richard Petco financed the league through its first 3 years, and that took a lot of guts through the COVID years and besides, but always had the vision of private ownership. Jamie was one of those people that stepped up, invested the money, invested the time, put his energy into this team. We have something special here, largely because of this vision that Jamie had, and it is a big, big loss. So our deepest condolences to his family. It's a big, big loss to our team and to our city.
And for Jamie, I mean, it's not just the Stingers, right? Like, he had his hands all over the NBA coming to Canada with the Raptors.
He did. Again, I use the phrase walk the walk. Jamie did. And Jamie continued to do so. And what he has done for the Edmonton Stingers in the community, it deserves, like I said, all of our gratitude and all of our support for his legacy, because of what he was willing to do to make sure that basketball on a professional level came and stayed in Edmonton.
Yeah, also a director of Canada Basketball as well. So our condolences, obviously, to the Burns family, all their friends, and people that he crossed paths with in a long career in sports. Now, sticking with the CEBL, Paul, I'm sure you saw the footage of the little rumble we saw with the Honey Badgers and the Shooting Stars. The suspensions came out. It was Roddy Peters Jr. and Terquavion Smith both getting 2-game suspensions, Frank Mitchell, Javon Johnson, and a couple others getting the 1 game. There were some fines. Good on the CEBL for getting on this quick and making sure you handled the fines, especially with the playoffs coming up. Like, you got to handle this quickly, and they did it.
They did, and they did the right thing. I think most people would agree with that. You cannot open the door a crack and turn a blind eye to this kind of incident, no matter when it takes place. And it would have been a big mistake on the part of the CEBL if they would have turned a blind eye to this because of the playoffs coming up, especially with a team that's been the dominant team in the CEBL this year in Scarborough. So they stepped forward, and Scarborough took a big, big hit. What the net result of this is for both the 1 and 2 teams in the East are they're both weakened going into the playoffs. In the West, shifting gears over there with the Stingers, the Vancouver franchise, the Bandits have gone through some changes too, with Kyle Julius leaving mid-season, their longtime head coach. So it's and bigger than that is the injury to Winnipeg's leading scorer, Teddy Allen, who was injured in a bar altercation in Winnipeg and will miss the first 3 games of the playoffs. So CEBL jumped on it. You're 100% right, Connor, but my, oh my, there are some unexpected doors of opportunities that have opened, and one of those might be for our own Edmonton Stingers.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about it, Scarborough and the Honey Badgers, the 1 and 2 seeds out east, potentially could meet in the conference final. So, I mean, that's going to become must-watch TV. You know that bad blood will carry over. Now, the Stingers are the 4 seed. They'll get Vancouver tomorrow night, I believe, 8 o'clock tip-off. How are you feeling about this matchup?
Well, it's tough to look at the Stingers right now and say, I think they got a chance. It's kind of got the Dumb and Dumber feeling right now. And that sounds a bit disrespectful, but it's been a very lackluster season and a very flat finish. The last 3 or 4 games, the Stingers have not played well and have lost games I think were very, very winnable for them. So I think, what we have with the Stingers right now is something, and I'm going to have to shift rooms here. Sorry. What we have with the Stingers right now is something that I don't think we expected at the beginning of the season, but have come to realize through the course of the season. This is a team that really hasn't found itself as of yet and needs to find themselves quickly. Now, the great thing is, and this I believe is their opportunity, is the West has been pretty flat this year. And I don't really look at Vancouver, particularly since they were not able to get Mitch Creek to stay for the whole season. I don't look at them as a daunting foe. They're beatable. That's a beatable team. But the Stingers are going to have to find an extra gear that they have not found to this point. So I'm hopeful that the Stingers can seize this opportunity and rise to the occasion, and I think inject some more energy and life into their season, because they have a real shot here if they come to play.
Paul Sir, the host of Hoop City, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. Now, let's just turn our focus to the NBA and this whole Kawhi Leonard situation. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm not sure if you have any insight to it. It's looking like this investigation with Kawhi could go into 2027, they're saying. Do they get to a point, you think, where the Raptors just kind of, make that hard decision? Like, we're either going to keep pursuing this or we just have to withdraw and move on without him? Because it seems like no matter what happens, this distraction is going to be there. You just have to decide if it's worth it for Kawhi Leonard.
What a train wreck. What a absolute train wreck. How complex is this deal that Kawhi signed that it's taken over a year? Like you spoke correctly, Connor, to good on the CEBL for moving so quickly.
Yeah.
But talk about a complete opposite approach by the NBA, and the way that they wash their hands of,
we may have lost Paul Sir here.
I seem to. There we go.
Got you back. All right, perfect, Paul.
Got you back there. Censored content. I think Raptors are watching. The terrible trade, terrible decision, and now they're painted into a corner because you don't know what the outcome's going to be. If it goes against Kawhi, Raptors could end up not being able to get Kawhi into their fold, and then you have to bring back a disgruntled Ingram. Can you imagine Brandon Ingram coming back to this lineup and saying, "Hey, Brandon, how you doing, man? We really wanted you. We didn't want to do this." So it really is it's a disaster. Shame on the NBA, and shame on the Raptors for going ahead knowing full well this wasn't resolved. So now it's kind of much ado about nothing so far. Love to see Kawhi, a mentally and physically healthy Kawhi in the lineup. That would be great. But it does create quite a conundrum for the Raptors in the offseason. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I'm with you. Like, I love the idea. I love the trade. If it was executed immediately, I'm all on board. And then I just start to see all these things happening, and Kawhi's aging, and how many games is he going to get into? Will there be a suspension? I have my doubts right now, but I'm hoping it'll all work out. And you're right. Like, if you have to, redact this trade and bring back those players you're going to move on from, they'll say all the right things. But I still think that deep down there will be a little bit of a hesitation there, and maybe some, if things go wrong, hey, let's move me. Let's get a change here. Now,
Absolutely.
The Eastern Conference, a bit of a shift in the power. LeBron joining the Philadelphia 76ers. We've got Giannis going down to Miami, the Knicks defending champions. So if I was asking you kind of to round out maybe your top 3 to 5 teams in the Eastern Conference right now, how would you have it looking?
I'd have to go with the Knicks. They've earned that right. And I'm sorry, I'm in a room with the window open, and we got, of course, construction, which is not unfamiliar to anybody in Edmonton going on. You have to go with the Knicks. I would say, you have to look at Philadelphia now. I mean, with that power pack lineup, good luck to Nick Nurse, keeping everybody happy there. Talk about the ultimate, there's only one ball syndrome that he's going to have to face in that franchise. How in the world do they just get along, and who's going to defer to whom? In that respect, I think LeBron will fit in well, because he seems to be at a stage of his career where he's willing to give up points in order to be a facilitator. That could really be a big help to them. So I'd have to put Philadelphia second. I don't think you can rule out Miami now with Giannis if he's healthy, if he can play through the season. They're going to be very good. Boston's going to be reasonably good again, I think. And then I have to throw a pitch in for Sean Sweeney, the new head coach of the Orlando Magic. Played with my son Steve in high school, longtime friend of our families. Excited for him to be in Orlando as their head coach. They have a ton of talent. Played okay in the first round last year. Will they reach their potential this year? That, of course, remains to be seen. But sure hoping that Sean can bring them into that top 5 in the Eastern Conference.
100%. That would be fantastic. Now, you kind of brought up a good point there with Nick Nurse. Looking back at that Raptors team here, when they won, I mean, it was Kawhi and then Kyle Lowry could do some things. After that, though, it felt like it was a lot of young guys that knew their role on the team. Like, if needed, Pascal Siakam could put up points. I think Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka knew what they were doing. Danny Green could hit a big shot. But you had Fred VanVleet, who was young, OG Anunoby, Norman Powell. That's not really going to be the case with this Sixers team. Like, they've got everyone on the floor could take that last shot, right?
Well, they can. So that begs the question then, Connor. Who's going to take the last shot? Who's going to want to take the last shot? Tyrese Maxey? I mean, he had a heck of a year last year. Is he going to want to give up a lot of shots? DJ Edgecombe, he's a stud. You know, he takes a lot of shots. Is he going to? How happy is he going to be in his second year to have to do that? If Embiid's healthy, does he want the ball, or is he happy just setting screens and being Andre Drummond? I don't think so. You know, and then, of course, you've got Jaylen Brown with an axe to grind, something to prove. You know, one of the weirdest trades of, you know, it's not quite Luka, but it isn't far off. So that whole situation in Philadelphia is rags to riches, I think, in terms of talent. But I think Low Tide's going to be losing some sleep when the season starts, when the Sixers try to find something resembling called team chemistry. It's going to be a very interesting experiment.
If it works, it could be awesome. If it doesn't, it could go down quickly. Yeah, Paul, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. I mean, NBA season's going to be here before we know it.
Really appreciate it, Connor. Continue to have a great summer.
Hey, thank you. You as well. That is Paul Sir, the host of Hoop City, which will be back here on Sports 1440 on Saturday afternoons. We should have some really good Saturday programming coming up here in the fall. Lots to get to still here on the show. We'll be talking some hockey. We got, different levels of hockey all over the place. We'll be doing 5 questions, the round table. We got Struddy, Cam Tate. Make sure you keep it locked here on Sports 1440. We're going to get to an update. Declan Kruger will tell you what happened in the Blue Jays game. Good news if you're a Jays fan, with our update brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 17,000 vehicles at goauto.ca with 31 new vehicle brands and 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at goauto.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Scores from around the majors. Blue Jays currently up 5-3 on the Astros in extras. That one in the bottom of the 10th. Cubs up 7-4 on the Dodgers. Rangers lead the Giants 5-0, and the Rays lead the Rockies 3-0. Coming up at 4:35, we are going to see the Angels and the Orioles. The late games tonight in the MLB. We'll see the Padres and Diamondbacks, as well as the Tigers and Mariners. Scores from the Hlinka Gretzky. Slovakia leading Switzerland 3-2 in the second period. Czechia and Finland just getting underway. That one 0-0 in the first. From around the sporting world, Stephon Diggs set to sign a 1-year deal with the Washington Commanders, and the Detroit Red Wings have hired a firm to assist in their GM search. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the Pro Press fitting to my copper pipe.
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Clean lies, fast, true greens, lush and predictable fairways. Yes, sir, it's a great time to play around at Colonial Golf Club. After the heavy rains earlier this summer, we've parked the Arc and our course is in fantastic condition. And no, golfers aren't coming out of the Arc 2x2. In fact, they're coming to the course in foursomes. Little joke there. And if you're looking to improve your game, our PGA pros are ready to help. Only 5 minutes from Edmonton in Beaumont. Colonial Golf Club. Book a tee time today at colonial.ca.
Ford employee pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, from Bronco Sports and Explorers right up to the Ford Expedition, and Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is the biggest event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Above expectations.
I can't see it all. Even if I could, it would all be great. Put your picture on my wall.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.307, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, it is the Gold Ball Jackpot. $42 million up for grabs tomorrow, a daily grand. And then on Friday, the Lotto Max, $25 million. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here. Deck, if you won $42 million tonight, would you be at work tomorrow?
Yeah.
How long would you be around for? Like, would you retire?
I'd buy it and fire it.
Oh my goodness.
And I'd start with Mackenzie.
Fired, or you'd keep her?
No, fired. She's the first one gone.
She's the first one to go.
I'm not even letting her plead her case.
Okay. Who's the second one?
You.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's this happening?
Connor can stay.
New Connor.
Well,
he'll be cheap, right?
But no salary.
Well, okay.
And he does everything.
You cannot fire him. He's already lost one practicum. He lost the Calgary job. You can't do it to him again. It just wouldn't be right. But hopefully Declan doesn't win, so Sports 1440 can continue. Go to playalberta.ca, buy your ticket, and lower the chances of Declan Kruger winning. we've got our daily specials here as well. Dex selects. Dex feeling the Atlanta Dream to cover the 7-point spread and the Liberty to cover the 8-point spread and the Mystics just to win. This is boosted to plus 650. We've also got point night. We're going the over in 3 baseball games. Tigers, Mariners over 8. We need Padres and Diamondbacks over 9 and the Twins, Royals over 9. Just going for it. It could happen. It's possible. Remember, though, to always use your game sense. Still to come on this show today, lots to get to. We've got Jason Strudwick, hopefully on video. We've got Jen Mueller to talk some Seattle Seahawks. Steven Ellis going to join us in about 15 minutes' time as we'll take a look down at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament. Canada so far 2-0. They defeated Switzerland 7-3 on Monday. Then yesterday, 6-1 over Slovakia. They'll get Sweden tonight. Right now, Sweden sitting 3rd in Group A with an overtime win and a loss. We'll also talk to Steven about maybe some guys you might want to watch out for. Maybe you're in your pool, some rookies who could take that jump into the NHL this year. And that's kind of the gist of it. We might even talk some motorsports because I was talking to Steven prior to this and he was asking if Colin Livingston was on the show today because apparently they're going to be going head to head in a race in a couple of weeks. So, well, we'll probably have to ask Steven about that as well. We'll have Spec, Cam Tate, and the stats of the day to wrap up the final hour. Just kind of as we were in commercial break here, the Toronto Blue Jays pick up the win over the Houston Astros in extra innings. Ernie Clement in the top of the 10th, 0 outs. Bomb. Made it 5-3. Houston would score a run in the bottom of the 10th, but Varsho popping out to end the game. A familiar face, and as soon as it left his bat, the Blue Jays started celebrating. So we'll see what happens. You guys all know the Jays now, I believe, 3.5 games back in the wild card spot. It's crazy, but crazy things happen in sport. Maybe they find a way with a little less pressure. The trade deadline's come and gone, and maybe they can find a way, but don't know if I'll be holding my breath myself. You can always reach us, 1-833-401-1440, or email Connor at sports1440.ca, Declan at sports1440.ca as well. We got a lot of text kind of rolling in here. People talking about the quarterback rankings in the NFL. In case you missed it earlier in the show, we were looking at the rankings. There were some surprises by a few people. And I think the cool thing with this, like, it's how people look at it right now. And Mike Sando does a really good job of checking in with those in the know. But so much can change. Like these lists could fluctuate within 2 or 3 weeks of the NFL season. Patrick Mahomes, number 1 quarterback in tier 1, but not unanimous. And that's the first time in a while, because for a long time, Patrick Mahomes has kind of ran the quarterback conversation. If you listen to Declan and myself, he hasn't been putting up big numbers the last few years here. Like, sure, they've still found ways to win games and be a good team in the AFC. But I don't know. If I'm starting my franchise, there's a few other guys I do like. They're the ones who kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I thought Bo Nix would be a little bit higher. Like when you hear tier 3, that kind of seems fair. But then when you look at some of the guys ahead of him, and I don't know, I might look at Bo Nix and think, I might like him over Sam Darnold as a quarterback. Darnold has a Super Bowl ring. I might like Bo Nix over Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, to me, is still kind of up and down. Don't really necessarily know what he is. And then even Jalen Hurts, I think I like Bo Nix. I mean, granted, I've seen him do some damage. He can move the ball with his feet. There's some things he could clean up, but I've had him there. Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career, number 19 on the quarterback list, declined a little bit. One defensive coordinator, unnamed, said, not able to make the magic like he used to. Well, yeah, I don't think he's going to be scrambling behind the line of scrimmage for 4 or 5 seconds and getting the ball downfield. But if you want to check out the list, we can make sure we get it to you. Democracy says Lamar is the real number 1. Yeah, Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's in tier 1. He's always going to be a threat for sure. My son actually has a little Lamar Jackson figurine he likes to play with. So Lamar Jackson has the younger fan base there. We'll see. I mean, I like what the Ravens team has built. Like, obviously, Derrick Henry, he's older. For a running back, I'm older as a human. I still like him. I still think he's not going to fall off. The Baltimore Ravens obviously really like Zay Flowers. They give him a very nice payday. Some might say too much. Declan and I would fall in that category. But hey, they're locking up one of their guys. They're keeping him in Baltimore for the next 5-ish seasons. Rashad Bateman is someone that I still think can contribute every once in a while. And in the draft, they did draft a couple of receivers. They got Jacoby Lane coming in the 3rd round. The tight end position, they lost 2 pretty good tight ends. Isaiah Likely went to the New York Giants, and then it was Charlie Kolar went to the Chargers. So they lost some good players there. Again, though, drafted tight ends in the 4th and 5th round of this year's draft. They lose Keaton Mitchell, but they do have Justice Hill. Drafted a running back in Adam Randall. So, yeah, Deanocracy, I think we're going to see some good stuff from Lamar Jackson, of course. As per usual, just stay healthy. Triple C in a truck, known Eagles fan, says Hurts is actually the real number 1. He'll beat all those top 5 quarterbacks. No losses. Maybe. He lost to the number 6 quarterback last year, though, and he was not very good in that game. I'm talking Chargers, Sunday Night Football. Had the double turnover on one play. Remember that? The interception. Then he picked up the fumble. Then he fumbled it. It's crazy. Rage Texter B says, hey, guys, what do you think? Super Flex League. Trade a 4th rounder for Lamar Jackson and keep him, or trade a 2nd for Gibbs. My other keeper is Allen. If I could trade a 2nd for Gibbs, I think I'm all over that one. I'm assuming Allen is Josh and not Keenan. Yeah, you have Josh Allen and then Gibbs. That's a pretty good start to your team, Rage Texter B. So I think I would probably keep that. Because, I think Gibbs might be the number 1 fantasy target in football. Declan, when we were doing 3 rounds with Josh Fenwick earlier today on the Frenzy, one of the questions was, who is the number 1 overall pick in fantasy football? Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs? I went Jahmyr. I kind of just like that offense a little bit more. And there's not a bad pick. Either way, you have a really good selection. These guys have had, Hall of Fame worthy starts to their career. Where would you go? Because for me, if I'm trading a 2nd for Gibbs, I'm stoked about that one.
Oh, no question. Yeah, I think those are definitely the 1-1 and the 1-2. I would take Gibbs as well over Bijan, even though I actually think Bijan might be a better player. But just what you said about, I think the offense is a little bit more dynamic. I think probably some more sustained drives with Detroit. I think the real question, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, is who do you have at like 3, 4, 5 for fantasy this year? Or maybe even just 3, because I think those are a very clear 1-2, and most would agree. But who's the next guy up?
This was the question we talked right after. So who is it? PPR?
I think if you're not playing half PPR in 2026, you're not doing fantasy football right.
Yeah, you should get a point for doing your job, right?
That's what I'm saying. And dude, there's no way.
I'm anti-PPR. I don't like it.
There is it's ridiculous. There is no one will ever shake me on this. There's no way a catch for a 1-yard loss should be the same amount of fantasy points as a 9-yard run. There's this one guy on Twitter, I can't forget who he is. He's like an actual fantasy guy, possibly a journalist, and he every season will put out clips of the equivalent fantasy points, and one will be like a 15-yard run, and the other will be just some joke of a catch for 5 yards. And like, it makes me I hate full PPR. And I was in a league where people like were wanted to do it, wouldn't shake, and I just had to leave the league because I was like, I can't do this.
Well, and then like, where do we get to? Do you get point per carry in the future? We can't be doing that. We can't go down that line. If it is PPR though, give me Jamar Chase. I'm a big Jamar guy. Burrow loves him.
Should you take him over Puka?
This year, yeah. I think so. Puka would probably be next, though. If I was doing tiers, that's my tier. After that, it's a little murky. I'm old school. I like running backs. So, like, where someone might go Jackson Smith-Njigba, I would get that. Amon or St. Brown, I'm probably looking running back. Like, give me Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, even James Cook. I tell you, I feel like I go to bat for him. I don't even know if he's slept on, but I feel like he is.
Dude, the Bills fan base hates him. Like, honestly, the Bills fan base they don't hate him, but they talk about Josh Allen having no help.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, James Cook just led the league in rushing last year. It's 1,600 yards. Like, I think it's a pretty nice feather in the cap to have, but they just pretend like it doesn't exist. Like, I don't know who did the interview. It might've been, I don't think it was Dion, but it was a member of the Bills team talking about DJ Moore and his acquisition to the Bills.
I think it was Dion Dawkins.
Was it Dion?
I
okay,
think
yeah.
so.
And it was him talking about like, it's nice that Josh finally has some help. And James Cook is just sitting there like, are you kidding me? Do we not? And not even last year. Like the year before that, he was really good too.
I think it was his first year he had fumble problems, I think, if we're going back in time, but I'm a huge fan of him. My one question, because there's a stud in Minnesota, but I don't know what to do with them. Like, if I'm picking end of the first round and Justin Jefferson's sitting there, I'm tempted, man. But the quarterback play, like, and that's, we had fantasy guests on last year saying, like, don't be worried about quarterback play. Like, Malik Neighbors a couple of years had a huge year with, questionable quarterback play. Justin Jefferson, he was done dirty. He only had 2 touchdowns. That's the one that I'm a little bit worried about. But if he's there coming back in the second round, I think I'd be silly not to.
Dude, he's the one guy in the NFL right now that I'm like, get him on a new team. Like,
yeah.
Normally I don't love loading up teams and, hey, get this player out of there. Justin Jefferson's one where I'm like, you have not done anything to make this worthwhile for him. Let's get him out of there. He doesn't need to go to the Rams, but get him somewhere else.
Maybe the other LA team.
Hey, who plays there?
The Chargers.
Oh, whoa, okay.
Maybe we'll trade Ladd McConkey in a third.
And then we got to get Ladd McConkey out of there too. Get him right back.
Yeah, exactly. No contract re-signing. Rage Sexter B says, I thought 2 elite QBs would be good in Superflex. Now that is a good point. I have yet to get into a Superflex league. I'm probably one of the few people who haven't. That's a good point. You're bringing up a good point. Pitts 5th overall? I can't do Kyle Pitts anymore. Declan, I've been hurt too many times. Too many times for that.
In my keeper league, I'm obviously, well, I shouldn't say obvious. No, why would anyone know this? But I'm keeping Brock Bowers for a 6th round pick. Can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
But in some redraft leagues, if Kyle Pitts staring at me a little later, I might have to do it.
If like Trey McBride and Bowers were gone and I'm just sitting there looking at him, I might have to reunite the squad. He was on my team his first 3 years. That was after I gave up on David Njoku.
He's on pace for 6 touchdowns this year. The hilarious thing about him, 1 touchdown, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So you can pencil him in for 6 this year.
So it's year 6 this year.
Yeah.
At what point does it start to decline, I wonder? Hopefully not soon. I do like him.
With him, it won't.
When I was concerned for him at first deck, when he wore number 8 as a tight end.
You're not a big single digit for tight end guys.
For anybody. My biggest boomer complaint is football. When you have a defensive lineman wearing number 2 or something, drives me crazy. These receivers wearing single digit numbers, I hate it. Honestly, if Quentin Johnson would have just worn like 81, probably a 2-time Pro Bowl receiver. I like the teens, though. I'm cool with the teens. When Ladd McConkey was drafted, Deck, I was ready to buy his jersey because he wore 84 at Georgia. Then I found out he didn't even like 84. He went to 15. Ugh. Could be worse. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get back to sports talk because we're going to look at some hockey. We got a cool tournament going on in town. Steven Ellis at Daily Faceoff will join us to talk about that, maybe some motorsports, and a little more. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, The Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the 1s and 2s, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
He came home, and right away I saw that look in his eyes. I knew what was coming. Before I could even speak, he raised his hand
and just kept texting me, asking where I was, demanding I respond immediately or I'd regret it. It hurt.
More than you can imagine.
Tech abuse is real abuse. If you or someone you know is using technology to harm or control, change is possible. Learn how to end the violence at alberta.ca/endgbv. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Here's a song I wrote just for Paul, and he's here tonight to play. He's here, man.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all pizza lovers. At Papa John's, get a large one-topping pizza for only $14.99 using promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Still here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Cougar, Mackenzie McLennan, and intern Connor with you here. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. We're going to talk some hockey in a second here, but just quickly, the Edmonton Elks releasing their injury report for today. Elijah Alston limited with the back. Nick Anderson, again, practicing in full with a hamstring injury. So that's good. David Beard, full. Jared Brinkman, full. He was limited yesterday, so that's really good. Noah Curtis, limited. Joe DeBlanco with a hamstring, limited once again, as is Kenny Logan Jr. Limited. He had the knee injury on Saturday night against the Rough Riders. Like I said, I was watching him on the sideline. Just looked like something wasn't right. He was moving around, but just couldn't get back out there. Also, Shunderick Powell, he was limited today. I don't think he was on the injured list yesterday, so limited with a calf injury. And Jacob Pomondon, once again, the shoulder injury had him limited. Elks and Alouettes meeting Saturday afternoon, a 1 o'clock start. In that one, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Right now, we're going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. It's dollar drink summer day at McDonald's. You can sip on refreshing small fountain drinks or small iced coffee for just $1 plus tax all summer long, only at McDonald's. As we are joined by Steven Ellis, covers I'd say the entire hockey world for Daily Faceoff. Steven, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's always a good day when you get to watch the son of Cristobal Huet, my all-time favorite goalie. He's currently playing for Switzerland. He just got a shot in the no-no area, so we'll see if he's okay, but otherwise it's been good.
As time moves on, Steven, I think you're probably in the same category. Like, it's getting weirder to see the son of a player you watched when you were like in your late teens, early 20s. We're getting too old, and it's just happening more and more.
Yeah, like with Switzerland in particular, you've got Huet and then you got Abisher, the son of David Abisher. So, like, if you're a Canadiens fan from like 2006, 2007, seeing Abisher and Huet playing on the same team together has got I don't know, I don't know if I would say memories or nightmares, depends on the way you look at it. But yeah, it's wild to see that.
Names of kind of a forgotten past right there. No, Steven, I heard from someone, his name is Brandon Douglas, that yesterday you were car shopping. Did you pull the trigger?
I did, yeah. So I got basically what happened was last week, my Ford Fusion, it just started having a transmission issue. I'm like, yep, not doing this. So got a new Ford Escape, picking it up later this week, and yeah, can't wait.
Beautiful. I had a Ford Escape for a while. It was written off, unfortunately, but before that, I really enjoyed it. So congratulations on the purchase. And we'll just stick with the cars, the racing for a little bit. Any smack talk you want to throw towards Colin Livingston? I think you guys are going to be meeting in a few weeks here.
Yeah. So he's going to be at Trois-Rivières this weekend for the NASCAR Canada race. Next week is in Markham, the first race there. And I'll be working with Alex Guinnett, the 39 car. He'll be working with Alex Tagliani, the 80 car. Both drivers have won some pretty big races at Trois-Rivières, but when it comes to Markham, neither of them have. And I think just my spotting experience of having never gotten a driver in a crash in my one race of experience is better than his millions of years of experience. So, yeah, Gannett's going to win next week. That's my prediction.
It's going to be a battle. Well, let's talk some hockey, Steven. That's why we brought you on the show today. Of course, you do it so well with Daily Faceoff. And right now, the Hlinka Gretzky Cup is going on. Canada 2-0 so far. They defeat the Swiss on Monday 7-3, then Slovakia 6-1. They get Sweden tonight. Sweden currently sitting third spot in Group A. So let's get right into it. Who stood out for you on the Canadian roster so far?
Well, I think the big one here, actually, I'd say maybe two because they kind of work together. It's Liam Pugh and Matic Schultz. They're 2028 NHL draft prospects, so not even this year's draft there for 2028. But the thing about them is just the chemistry is unbelievable. We got to see them a lot last year between AAA and Regina and then the WHL Regina Pats, and they were the two best players on the team despite being the youngest guys on the team. So watching them do what they've been able to do with this tournament has been great. Cameron Warren's the third player in that line, and he had a really unremarkable OHL rookie season, but having watched him up close a lot in his AAA season, you could tell this guy has so much skill, and watching what he's been able to do has been a lot of fun there. Caden Schroeder, Edmonton Oil King player, 2 goals yesterday, very important in that victory over the Slovaks. And then, of course, you look at Landon Dupont, a lot of conversation about whether or not he's legitimately the best prospect in this draft. Let's just say there's no reason to be debating that hard in August, in my opinion. But when it comes to Dupont, watching what he was able to do yesterday, he looked like the best player out there. So, it's a strong Canadian team. They've already launched or locked a spot in the playoffs. But you see them against Sweden tonight. That's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about Landon Dupont because, he got that exceptional status in the WHL. In 64 games, his first season, he had 60 points. In year 2, 73 points in 63 games, and seems to elevate his game in the playoffs as well. What do you think is the debate right now for Dupont? Because I've seen size, but, geez, 5'11", 180 at 17. That seems okay to me.
Yeah, last I looked, actually, I think his updated size was more like 6'1", 190. So he's at that size there. Yeah, he continues to grow. And I think with him, it's kind of also like learning to be to play a mature game and learning how to use his growth over the last couple of years to his advantage. So I think he was drafted WHL at like 5'9". Then remember, he's like 14 years old or whatever it was when he was drafted there. So yeah, of course, he was going to be pretty small. But I think just size. You look at Matthew Schaefer. This is not like a towering dude out there. Cale Makar is not a big guy. I think the gold standard when you look at these small defensemen is Lane Hudson. But Dupont is bigger than Lane Hudson. He's stronger than Lane Hudson. So I'm not too worried in that sense. I think you'll look at the way that he controls the puck. He shoots the puck a lot. He's a great playmaker, and he's not only does he like the physicality, but he kind of like forces the physicality. He's like, okay, if you're going to go one-on-one with me, you better come out alive because I'm going to go out there and crush you. I'm going to put you along the boards. And that's something that we don't typically see from a lot of young players, but you've got that 2 years of WHL experience already at this age. I think that really helps. So yeah, I think Dupont right now is definitely the best prospect for the 2027 draft. I know people have been wondering, is this a deep draft? Again, way too early to say. I think if you look at the 2026 draft, everyone was thinking it was going to be deeper than it probably was at this time of year. But, I think it's still one where there's going to be a lot of skill and a lot of size at the top of the draft.
Steven Ellis of Daily Faceoff joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. So yesterday on the show, we were talking to Kevin Woodley, and one of the topics we brought up was goaltending for the Canadian hockey program and just, what they're trying to do to maybe duplicate what we've seen from the States or even the European style as well. So this next wave of Canadian goaltenders at about this age group, what are you seeing? What do you like?
Well, I think, we haven't really seen the Canadian goalies at this tournament tested too much. Like you look at Leif Oden, I thought he was good yesterday, but he faced, I think, 12 shots, 13 shots. And then they had Sam Berthami in the first game, and there was a couple not great goals against, but also a couple times where you look at the Swiss and they just kind of took control of some of the poor defensive mistakes that Canada was making there. So I think, when you look at what Canada's goaltending is going to look like in the future, I'm not ready to completely write it off because all you really need is one guy to really figure it out. And the two young guys, at least, prospect-wise, that a lot of people are keeping a close eye on are Jack Ivankovic, who will be Canada's starting goalie of the World Juniors this year, barring an injury, and Joshua Ravensbergen, who's going to be one of the top goalies in college this year. And you watch those guys, very different goalies. Like Ravensbergen's 6'4", very big, but he's also very athletic for that size. You look at Jack Ivankovic, some of the quickest hands you'll find, but he's only 5'11". Is he going to be too small? I think he's going to be kind of in that Dustin Wolf, UC Soros range of he's going to make it work. He's just too talented to fail, I think. So if one of those guys can figure it out, I think they'll be a starting goalie for Canada in major international tournaments going forward. But, this year, I think it's too early to say if any of these goalies are that exciting. You look at the World Junior Summer Showcase, I think goaltending was actually a big issue for that team. Last week, Ivankovic was the one goalie before they brought to Canada that didn't actually play in any of the games. They didn't necessarily need to see him. But yeah, I still think I wouldn't completely write off Canadian goaltending, but there's also a lot kind of writing on Ravensbergen and Ivankovic too.
So, Steven, if there are some listeners out here that want to go out and watch some good hockey, obviously it's in Edmonton, so you can go and do that. Who are some players outside the Canadian roster that you should be watching out for?
Well, the Slovak goalie just tried a goalie goal, so I'm going to give him credit. Husar, that was quite incredible. But, when you look at this tournament, you look at a guy like Milan Sundström out of Sweden. He's one of the top European players this year. He's been very good. Jonah Neuenschwander, who is currently playing for the Swiss. He played quite well against Canada. He's been good. Lucas Kastler, he's a defenseman. He's 5'8", 5'9", but he's already got 5 points in 2 games. He looked really good. Alessandro Dominicelli from Switzerland. His dad played a bit in the NHL. Jake Prunty on the U.S. team. He's been very good, a very strong defenseman, maybe one of the best players on that American roster. So I think there's a lot of good talent here overall. This is maybe not the strongest Hlinka Gretzky competition, but it's also been very wide open because you look at Switzerland gets crushed by Canada, and then they beat Sweden in a 7-6 game. So I think this is a pretty solid tournament overall. It is still summer hockey. You got to take that into account, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I've been surprised by a lot of the hockey writers in Edmonton. They're like a little I want to stay away from the rink for a little bit longer. And I totally understand that you spend the majority of your year covering hockey, but hey, I'll take it. I don't mind throwing it on the TV, having it on in the background. Let's look at the NHL here. And of course, you cover these prospects. You know them very well. I want to ask you, what are your expectations for Gavin McKenna going into year one, playing in a hockey hotbed like Toronto?
I think with him, I think he's going to have maybe a bit of an easier road to kind of getting a bunch of offense right away than someone like Connor Bedard, who joins the Blackhawks. He's playing with like Nick Foligno and Phil Kurashev. He wasn't exactly playing great line mates, but going to Toronto for Gavin McKenna, he's probably going to play either Austin Matthews or John Tavares. And both those guys not only are quality players who are capable of putting a lot of points on the board, but they have also been first overall picks. They know how to play in the pressure. So I think that's something where you look at this and say, I think he's probably going to be at least a minimum 60-point guy. Could he get 70? Yeah, I think he's going to be one of those guys for sure in the running for the Calder Trophy. My money would still be on Porter Martone right now. But I think McKenna's going to have a very easy time adjusting to the pro ranks.
Do you foresee any other rookies from this draft class making the jump and playing with their NHL club for the entire season?
I would say you look at Ivar Stenberg. I think that's one where he's going to play a lot of minutes with San Jose, probably in its maybe not top line role. I think we'll see kind of Igor Chernyshov can take that role. But if not, if you have a guy like Stenberg playing with Celebrini, I think you're probably really excited there. Albert Smith, right now, I would love to see if he can make a really good run at training camp there. I know the expectation is he's probably going to go back and play in Finland, but if not, I think he's a guy that could probably handle playing pro. So I guess there's always a few guys that might just kind of crack through here, but there's also still some situations here we're trying to figure out. Maybe guys who committed to NCAA schools will actually go the NCAA route. I think Chase Reed could play in the NHL next year, but he's going to Michigan State.
Okay, and you know what? I don't even mind that. I kind of like a chance to kind of obviously build some muscle, some strength with the lighter schedule and going up against older guys with the college schedule. I kind of like that. So my final question for you will to be today. I just wanted to ask you about the Oilers draft class. I'm not sure if Gregor had you on after the fact. I was on vacation, so I was far away from this. But thoughts on the Oilers draft class once again not having a first round pick?
Yeah, I think, it's about as good as you're probably going to get when your first pick is number 58. But I like Rudolph Burskolms. I think this is a guy that actually is very tough to play against. And a lot of guys that I talked to who play against him in the USHL consider him the toughest player in the league. Now, you aren't necessarily always getting the best players in that league, but he still was outstanding. You look at a guy like Andrew Robinson, very kind of under the radar type guy out of the OHL, maybe a guy that could at best can play a few games in more of a shutdown role. We'll see. But Ryan Cameron's also interesting because you always want to take at least one goalie. And this is the third straight year, I believe. No, actually, I think it's like they're like a 5 or 6 year run of picking a goalie at the draft. But that's something I always like that they do. And they picked a guy in Ryan Cameron who is on USA Hockey's radar. They brought him to the World Junior Summer Showcase. He had some minutes where he was pretty impressive. But we'll see kind of what happens there. So I think the Oilers, not a lot of picks, not a lot of high picks. I think you're probably giving it a B-, but you're probably happy at that anyways.
You nailed it. The last 5 drafts, they have taken a flyer on a goaltender, and hopefully one of them will pan out for the sake of the Oil. Well, Steven, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yes, you too. Thanks so much.
There you go. Steven Ellis of Daily Faceoff joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. A little rundown of the Hlinka Gretzky as well as what's coming up this year. 2 potential, maybe 3 full-time NHLers. We shall see. Gavin McKenna. I'm intrigued by this one. Going to the Maple Leafs. I was gone for the draft. I was here for the draft. I was gone for free agency. So I didn't get a whole lot of talk when it came to McKenna, but I am looking forward to seeing how it all pays out, and it should be fun. And if you are looking to go watch some hockey, the Hlinka Gretzky down in our city at the DCA and Rogers Place. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll shift our attention to the NFL and look at the Seattle Seahawks. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one... yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
pride of the North Side, and a man about town. Listen to the Tom Gazzola Show, weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
They are nice, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Lux Windows was founded in 1969 with 5 people and a dream. 55 years later, our team of experts cares a whole lot about building and installing the best possible windows and doors. Because Lux is not just an Alberta-made product. We're one big Alberta-made family. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at www.cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show, 345. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here, getting you through this Wednesday afternoon. Jason is back tomorrow on the big show, so make sure you tune in for that. Right now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. We're looking forward to an opening night on September 18th and a spectacular season. Saints Hockey School running from the 24th to the 28th of August. All ages, U9, U11, U13, and U16. Make sure to sign up today at sgsaints.ca. And some news today, the LA Rams reporting that Aaron Donald was in for a workout. They brought in Myles Garrett. All this to try to take down their divisional rival and Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. We are joined by the team's sideline reporter, Jen Mueller, here on the show. Jen, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Hello. I am well. Practice is going very well. It's a little bit hot, so I'm glad to have an excuse to come inside and talk to you guys in the AC.
Oh, well, we appreciate you doing this for sure. We won't take up too much of your time. So camp rolling on here, kind of the dog days, I'm sure, but the pads are on. That's always a good sign. What has been the storylines right now for the Seattle Seahawks coming off a Super Bowl championship?
You know, I think everybody is looking at their chances to repeat. In fact, all of the fans keep asking me about that. But internally, the messaging has been really clear. That is not really what they're trying to do right now. They're not looking to run it back, as people would say. The messaging is about starting back from square one because it's a different team, and it is important to build the chemistry and to not skip the steps. And the phrase that Mike McDonald has used over and over again is run it forward, but there's no expectation of picking up where they left off last year. And I think that's one of the big storylines, because you always want to see how the champs respond to being the champs, right? When you know that everybody's coming after you, all eyes are on you. Hard Knocks has been out here, and there's a standard that you set last year that you want to live up to.
100%. I mean, it's tough to win. I think it's tougher to repeat because you know you're going to have that target on your back night in and night out. And for the Seattle Seahawks team, I mean, I'm looking at the depth chart here and a lot of familiar faces and not too many changes on the offensive side of the football. Of course, they lose their starting running back, but Zach Charbonnet will be there. They drafted Darian Price with the first-round pick. And then on the defensive side, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like everyone is returning when it comes to the starters. So looks like there's going to be a lot of familiar faces with the Seattle Seahawks. A good sign, I would think.
Well, yeah, it is the most intact Super Bowl team of any champion. And they did lose Boye Mafe on the defensive front, but they replaced him with a guy like Dante Fowler. So, there's plenty of pieces. And I think you're right when you say the depth. And that's why when you talk about the Rams and Aaron Donald, I think that is one of the most underrated parts of this team is the depth and the consistency that they have. Whether you were looking at pass rushers that were able to generate pressure without blitzing last year, or if you're looking at the consistency on the offensive line, it's really nice to have guys who are familiar with each other and who are connected. Now, they did make the change at offensive coordinator, but you wouldn't know that based on how practice is going. It is sharp. It is quick. They are breaking the huddle with a sense of urgency. They are on the details. It's really fun to watch a group of guys who already has the knowledge of what their teammate possesses and how they can bring the best out of them. They're having a good time. Loose and focus is another one of our phrases. They're having a good time seeing how good they can get in camp.
Under center, Sam Darnold obviously had the really good bounce back season with the Minnesota Vikings, was rewarded financially by the Seattle Seahawks. I think a lot of Vikings fans might have wished that they would have made that move, paying him. Going into year two, what are you going to maybe see as terms of the biggest growth in his game with this team? Because I don't know if you saw the Athletic had their quarterback tier list today. They had him as the 14th ranked quarterback in the league, a tier 2 quarterback. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty good for a guy who just got you a Super Bowl championship, like I said.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that, I think as a team, this is the most disrespected group of Super Bowl champs that we have ever had and the least talked about, which quite honestly, they are fine with. Sam is really good at being critical of his own game. And I think if you were to ask him, the number one thing that he would work on is the turnovers. There were too many last year. Now, in the playoffs, Seattle did not have a single turnover, which was critical, right, in those games. But during the course of the year, there were too many of those mistakes that put the ball in harm's way, that killed drives, right, that forced themselves to dig out of a hole. That has to be something that changes this year. But, I think part of it is when you start back from the beginning with running back, and you mentioned some of the new guys in that room. You've got a new running backs coach in addition to a new offensive coordinator. I do think having a more effective and efficient run game from the beginning of the season will help take some of that pressure off. But yeah, Sam, what's really funny about when you talk about Sam Darnold, people forget that he had the offensive MVP, right, on his team, wide receiver, JSN, right? And we look at JSN and he's really good. Who do you think threw him the ball? Who do you think helped make that happen, right? It's a convenient oversight in telling the story of who won offensive MVP, because that wouldn't happen. And I'm not taking anything away from Jax, but just to highlight, you very rarely get there with a tier 2 quarterback.
Another receiver on the team, and I loved when they made the move, was bringing in Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. I was banging the drum. I'm like, he's my X factor in every playoff game, just waiting for him to really make that big time play. Do you expect maybe more of an expanded role for him in the passing game?
Unquestionable. Yes, absolutely. They did the best they could. And Rashid is awesome, and he did the best he could. But it's really hard to join an offense mid-season, because coaches can't go backwards and reinstall what everybody else already knows. Now, that does not mean that there aren't guys working with him on the side. It doesn't mean that he's not asking enough questions. It's just you can't go backwards when you're at that point in the season and make sure that everybody has the same knowledge base. To have the off season, to have the chemistry with Sam, the understanding of what that wide receiver room is, it is going to make a difference in how much we see Rashid Shaheed and what his impact can be, not just on special teams, but on the offense.
Jen Mueller joining us here, the sideline reporter for the Seattle Seahawks. And I want to ask you about Mike McDonald, kind of burst onto the scene here, former defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. I know Ravens fans wish he never got away, but that's a whole other topic. What have you noticed in terms of change, maybe growth, maturity since winning the Super Bowl?
I think Coach has been consistently himself. And if you watched Hard Knocks, the first episode came out last night, and it was really fun to see him behind the scenes and to see how he motivates players. Because the thing that Mike will always say is that he's awkward. And he anticipated being awkward on camera. And I would say it looked anything but that. And what's most impressive to me is once you have already climbed that mountain and you are champions, and you did this really early in your head coaching career, how do you motivate those guys to do it again? And the way that he told the story about Michael Jordan and the Bulls and Phil Jackson and how they were able to put each other's individual needs aside for the best of the team, I thought his messaging was so on point. I don't know that he's going to change a lot as a play caller. I don't know that you're going to see anything different from him on the sidelines. I mean, Coach is Coach, but I do think that it is the clarity in his messaging, the expectations, and how he's resetting kind of where you're starting from that has been the most impressive to see. And that takes leaders in any industry a long time to learn. And Mike seems to have done that just really well in a short amount of time.
Jen, you mentioned Hard Knocks. I haven't got a chance to see it. It's on the list. Also, Ted Lasso, the new season gets going today. So let me ask you this. Every year on Hard Knocks, there's kind of the one or two guys that fans kind of fall in love with their personalities. Who do you think is going to steal the show this season?
I am really curious based on how last night's episode was set up. I personally think Derek Hall is going to be more of a household name. He is one of our linebackers, our pass rushers. You'll see on the show, this is not something that is new, but he has the shortest shorts of anybody at training camp. He has done this since his rookie year. He has the biggest truck of anybody in the parking lot. He is ferocious on the field and the biggest teddy bear off the field. And I just think that fans are going to see how much fun he has. He and Leo, they're like little brother, big brother sort of a thing. I think that he is going to become more of a household name. But there's a few guys that got some time where I am curious to see where like episode 2 takes you in that development for the storyline of kind of player to splash on the scene.
Final question for you, Jen. You are the team sideline reporter. So outside of the Super Bowl, what was the coolest moment experience last season, getting to take it all in?
Oh, man. I think it had to be the Rams game with all of the crazy plays and the 3 2-point conversions. I mean, I've been on the sidelines for years. This is year 18 for me. And I have never seen a game that was quite like that. It is second craziest in my career, only to the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers that sent us to the second Super Bowl there, or I'm sorry, our third Super Bowl, but back-to-back years. That game was unbelievably crazy. Just the vibe, the energy, the awareness of the players, the fans, like that was one game that I will never forget.
Awesome. Yeah, I could imagine just being on the sidelines in Seattle, how crazy it gets there. The things you've seen would be awesome. So that's such a cool thing. Jen, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate you taking some time and stepping away from practice. And hopefully we can get you on again during the season.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Jen Mueller joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in, of course, the sideline reporter for the Seattle Seahawks. 18 years. I think the Seahawks, and I kind of said it, I think sometimes they get slept on for what they've been able to do. You know, they had, was it Tim Hasselback? Was Matt Hasselback that got them to the Super Bowl the first go around? And they did it with Russell Wilson. Now they've done it once again. You know, they've had different coaches, different regimes. They've built up good teams. And, you know, they're not the historic franchise like the Steelers or the Cowboys or the Packers. But, you know, modern days, since the year 2000, the last quarter century, they've kind of put together 3 teams that have made it to the Super Bowl. An organization a Chargers fan like myself would be quite envious of. They've done a very good job. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to the roundtable. We got Strutty, 5 questions, and more. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to HireGood.ca. Hire Good, stable jobs create stable lives.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Finals from around the MLB was the Blue Jays over the Astros 5-4 in 10. The Cubs beat the Dodgers 7-6. Rangers 6-0 over the Giants, and the Rays also blanking the Rockies 4-0. Coming up in about 35 minutes time, we will see the Angels and the Orioles, the A's and the Reds at 4:40, as are the Mets and Guardians and Nats and Phillies. The late games tonight in the MLB, we'll see the Tigers and Mariners and the Padres and Diamondbacks, both at 7:40. In the Hlinka Gretzky with Slovakia over Switzerland 6-2. Currently, Finland leads Czechia 2-1 in the second period. And from around the sporting world, Steph Diggs expected to sign a 1-year deal with the Washington Commanders. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
and with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Johnny Radio here at No Bull RV, and I was just talking to Rick Showers about throughput. I didn't know what that was until he explained it. Throughput means RVs coming in and RVs going out. But what we've got here at the moment is a lot of RVs in to the point where the lot is full. That's not so good for him, but really good for you because that means selection is at its maximum. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob.
It's Johnny Radio. Anywho, in order to ease the strain, Rick here went to the finance company. He put them in a headlock until they agreed to give his customers a 2.99% finance rate OAC, which they did, but they can only offer such an absurdly low rate for a very short time. It's really just a week. Well, less than a week at this point, and until Saturday, let's put it that way. But that gives you a few more days to find the RV you want and bring it home.
Right you are, Johnny.
So come say hi to me, Johnny Radio, here at No Bull RV in Leduc, which they tell me is somewhere near Edmonton. What do I know? I'm from Hollywood.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 4:04. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, the Gold Ball jackpot, $42 million tomorrow. You got the Daily Grand. And then on Friday, Lotto Max worth $25 million. Remember, make sure to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, intern Connor here as well. We roll through this Wednesday afternoon, almost officially midway through your week, especially if you did work on Monday. We're right there. We're heading on to the back end of it tomorrow on this show. Of course, it's Thursday. We'll have Livingston. We'll really ramp it up, hoping to get Jason Moss, head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, back. And of course, Jason returns to the show. So make sure, of course, you tune in tomorrow. Just keep it locked here on Sports 1440 for the rest of your life. That's what you have to do. We got great content coming your way. Live coverage, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, plus Fox Sports Radio and Blue Jays baseball. It's good stuff. Right now, speaking of good stuff, we're going to get to the round table with Declan Kruger and Mackenzie McLennan as they each throw out a topic, and we have a little discussion about it. Agree, disagree. You can also join in at 1-833-401-1440. Which one of you two lovely people would like to go first today? Okay. Mackenzie's going first.
By default. I feel like this always ends up happening.
Ladies first.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Jalen Hurts is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in football. Every year he wins games, and every year people rank him like he's just being carried. Do you want me to explain my argument?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. He's consistently led one of the NFL's top offenses, and he wins since becoming Philly's full-time starter. The Eagles have been among the league leader in wins. Every time he has a down game, the conversation is he's exposed while other quarterbacks are allowed to have slumps. And I think if he were in a Chargers or Bengals jersey instead of an Eagles jersey, he'd already be considered a top 5 quarterback. The criticism he gets has more to do with perception than production.
Wait, do you mean if he was on the Chargers or Bengals, or if this Philadelphia Eagles team that has had the success they've had was the Chargers or Bengals?
If this team was a Chargers or Bengals team rather than the Eagles, because I also believe that the Eagles get a little bit of hate that isn't warranted all the time.
Well, I think the Eagles do it to themselves a lot because of the city and the fan base. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, that is part of it. Like the fans are hard on the team.
Is it me?
Well, I mean, hey, I will say I do think that Jalen Hurts does get a lot of unwarranted hate. I didn't love the shot at LA. The Chargers quarterback there gets no help, and all of a sudden he's if man because we say if he was healthy, if the team was healthy. Every team says that, but Herbert becomes if man. Anywho, no, I do think so. And you look at his career record as a starter. He's 57-25. He plays in a tough division in a tough market, and he's handled things very well. Philly has been tough on their quarterbacks. Donovan McNabb was kind of, bad mouth towards the end of his career, even though I thought, didn't win, but a pretty good player for that team. Statistically, for the most part, he's only thrown double-digit interceptions once in his career. He's been a good quarterback. I think he does get unwarranted hate. I do think his ranking is fine. Like we said, if you put him in a quarterback competition making throws, he probably would be middle of the pack if there was 30 quarterbacks there. But that's not football. That's just throwing the ball. He can run. He has that kind of X factor to him. I'd love to see him take care of the football because he averages 9 fumbles a year. That could be cleaned up. But no, I'm not a hater of Jalen Hurts. So I think you have some merit here, Mackenzie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Deck?
I've been very consistent with my Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that team and that roster is obviously different now with A.J. Brown's departure. And I'll give Jalen Hurts this credit for sure. What he's done with 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 different years is tough to do, and it's impressive. But I just think when you look at the totality of that roster, they're limited at the most important position because of his limitations. And I forget if it was one of the defensive coordinators in this poll that came out, maybe it was an executive, something like that, but they made the point that like what he leans into or what he tends to do most is go off script, and as you age that isn't always as sustainable, which I think is a great point. I think he has some very legitimate limitations throwing the football. I think he does a lot of stuff well, and I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's probably somewhere in that 12 to 15 range, which I think is a fair ranking for a guy who can do what he does, but also can't do what he cannot do. So, yeah, and I also think some of the hate with Jalen Hurts that comes out with him is I don't think he does himself a lot of favors when he gets up on the stand and he tries to act like he's Confucius, giving quotes after tough losses and stuff like that. I don't think he's exactly ever, and he, you're an Eagles fan, Mackenzie. Does he take losses on his shoulders well? I've never felt like he's taken a loss on his shoulders well as the quarterback. I've always felt it's been a little bit, it's someone else's fault. It's not me as much. And again, not a bad quarterback, but I just think he has some very legitimate limitations that we all watch the games. We can all see it. And I just think sometimes they don't get put under them. They just don't get talked about maybe the way they should or could if it was another quarterback.
Yeah, when there are losses, I think he handles it fine. That's just who he is speaking in quotes. At least
But if you're gonna try and act if you're gonna try and act like the smartest guy in the room every time you get behind a microphone, and then we're ripping you for sounding like a dick, you kind of got to take that on the chin a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, when we're talking about hate,
he's a smarter, less charismatic Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I would know. He's Jameis Winston. He's what Jameis Winston thinks he is in his own brain, without the actual fun, loving aspect of it.
Love Jameis.
I can agree with that. Some of the things he does say during pressers, I'm you're not really doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm glad you said that as well, because I agree. And MTR on the text line, he said he comes across as not authentic, and I think that's a good way to describe it. And that my thing is, I feel like he doesn't put things on his shoulders as the starting quarterback very well. As much as I have an issue with some other quarterbacks in the league, a lot of quarterbacks are quick to say, hey, that one's on me. Jalen Hurts, to me, it's always kind of felt like it's someone else's problem, not his, and I think that kind of plays into things as well.
Just one thing. So he has 63 career rushing touchdowns. 8 was his lowest last year. That's in a full season. If he repeats that, he's going to pass Larry Zonka, Thurman Thomas, Willis McGahee, Fred Taylor, Todd Gurley, Maurice Jones-Drew, Steven Jackson, Sean McCoy, Ezekiel Elliott, Earl Campbell, man. He could get Earl Campbell. sneakily puts up a lot of rushing touchdowns. I just wanted to throw that in there because that's pretty good for he'll be 28 in a couple days. Deck, what's yours today?
I'm going to keep this one short and sweet and throw it to you two to discuss. We're staying in the NFL world. Might even phrase this one as a question. Joe Burrow. We all know how hot he is. Little overrated?
Yes.
No. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Ladies first.
Just
wait, who said no and who said yes?
I'm no.
Okay.
I said yes.
Okay.
This is gonna be a big double standard, but whatever. It really bothers me like how it doesn't bother me, but his like pregame outfits just like rub me the wrong way. And he had the year where they went to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost to the Rams, and he just like hasn't been able to stay healthy since. And I know that like that offensive line has not helped, but I don't know. Something about it, I just think he is overrated.
He has one accolade, and it is that video of him throwing the ball while spinning during warm-up, and the Bengals social media team milks it like the only cow on the farm. And I'll say this about Joe Burrow as well, because I said some positives about Jalen Hurts. He's the most accurate thrower in NFL history. That's a legit stat. I think he's at like 71% completion percentage. He is an incredibly talented thrower of the football. There is no question. But at some point, it needs to be more in 5 years than you've gotten to one Super Bowl, have been hurt a bunch, and have some cool quotes with a nice chain every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay, what he wears and what social media puts out there is not Joe Burrow. So take that out of the conversation.
But it is him because it's what he wears. Like, that's him showing his personality.
Okay, so because the Bengals only have one social media clip, because that's probably all they employ.
He's done.
Whoa, take the octave down a little bit. Declan, he was an MVP candidate, except his defense can't do squat, and you have to get into the playoffs to make it. He's got his team to a Super Bowl, which is more than my quarterback and your quarterback can say.
Lost it.
He got there. I mean, I just want to see a quarterback win a playoff game. He's one of the best three quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, availability is the best ability. That's probably the most overused thing in the last 5 years. We've all picked up that saying. But come on, when he's out there, he is absolutely one of the best quarterbacks in the game. I'm not taking slander because his social media team's lazy. I'm not going to slander him because he's a little out there with his wardrobe. On the field, the guy's a stud of a quarterback. Can't believe we're even having this conversation.
I'm not saying at all. As clear as I was about Jalen Hurts, I want to be extra clear about Joe Burrow. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I would have him in the top 5, top 6, but I just think little overrated. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's anywhere near that conversation. I don't think he's better than Lamar. I don't think he's better than Josh Allen. I got to be honest, Connor. Him and Justin Herbert's a debate for me.
Well, I'm very biased with Justin Herbert. I have to like shelter my true thoughts on Justin Herbert. I think he's the best thrower of the football in the NFL. I mean, go watch his film, see some of the throws he makes. But I don't know. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I feel like I'm just pumping up every quarterback you guys say today, so you can take that with a grain of salt. But when he's out there, and honestly, you guys could have even said he's got Jamar, he's got T. Higgins. Like there's ways he had
prime Joe Mixon too.
Prime Joe Mixon. He had Mike Gesicki. Jermaine Gresham, was he still around? That might be crossing time frames here, but I don't know. I think when he's out there, he gives the Bengals an unbelievable chance to win. But I will listen to the naysayers who bring up the injuries because that's totally fair. He's got to find a way to stay healthy.
I just want to say really quickly, I think that Troy Aikman and Joe Burrow are similar.
Okay, I'm out on that one.
What? No. Let me finish. Obviously, Troy Aikman, like way more accolades in his career, went to multiple Super Bowls, went to championship games, all of that. But the way the Cowboys defense wasn't able to protect him and he was consistently out with concussions, I don't want this to happen to Joe Burrow, but I just see it happening in the same way that it happened to Troy Aikman where he had to retire early.
Andrew
Or-
Luck is a good recent comparable.
Andrew Luck, yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Andrew Luck are actually like they're very similar in a lot of ways.
The crazy. This is just randomly you bringing up Troy Aikman. Do you know what his career high in touchdown passes was?
Oh, I bet it's in the 20s, I bet.
Low 20s.
Yeah, 23 was going to be my guess. Is it 23?
23. I look at what he did, and he's good, but he played with Irvin. He played with one of the best running backs of all time, a great defense. His career high, and I know it's a different era. Don't at me or anything like that. 11, 23, 15, 13, 16, 12, 19, 12, 17. His interception totals in those times, 18, 10, 14, 6, up to 12, down to 7, 13, 12, 5, 12, 14. Over his career, he threw 165 touchdown passes to 141 interceptions.
Okay, so maybe that argument was wrong.
Burrow's just crushing it stats-wise, different eras, but
yeah.
he doesn't have the jewelry. Well, he does have the jewelry, but not the hardware.
Different kind.
Different kinds of jewelry.
In 11 years, Troy Aikman had 32,000 yards, basically 33,000. In 6 years, Joe Burrow has like 21,000. And that's with last season when he only had 1,808 games.
I'm telling you. Mike Bossy, I've said this before. I look at Mike Bossy's stats. It blows my mind how good they were. And then I go look at Troy Aikman's stats, and I'm like the opposite, blown away how unimpressive they are. But they won. So the Cowboys fans can bring it up. Herbert has Madison beer, so he's better than Burrow. Well, MTR, there you go. He does. Although apparently him sitting with her after practice yesterday was a concern. We'll have to see how it plays out. Miguel's. Yeah. How dare you sit on the field with your fiance? Who do you think you are? Miguel says Joe Burrow's team is actually crap. Like, dude, no QB would survive a season behind that offensive line. Well, and I don't know. Maybe some would. I've seen Justin Herbert play with torn cartilage in his ribs. He broke his hand and then went out there and stiff-armed a defender to win the game against the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. I don't know. What is the threshold of pain tolerance and how do you go through it? I don't know. Some quarterbacks play through a lot of stuff. Joe Burrow's had some serious injuries, like the wrist one. You can't throw a football. Obviously, you can't go, but in key moments, all these top 5 quarterbacks throw interceptions and fumble the ball. Why are they so good? We can't let their failures determine it, I suppose. I don't know. MTR says, dude has Chase and Higgins. He complained for Higgins to get paid. Should use the money elsewhere. And I don't disagree with you. Like, I don't necessarily love the way the Bengals have built that team. It worked one year. I know this year they kind of revamped the defense and they got to keep them upright. But also some of that does fall on Joe Burrow. Like, you can't hang on to the football as long as you want. Like, sometimes you just have to throw it away and live to fight another day. Slide if you have to. Make sure you don't get hurt. Go above and beyond to protect yourself out there. This is the NFL. No matter what, you're going to have good players coming your way. I think at a certain point, you have to make sure you do what you can yourself, whether that is throwing it away or, dropping down there, throwing it, running it, punting it away, whatever it has to be. But make sure you're not taking as many big shots. Ricky Bobby says Joe Burrow's best comparison is Kirk Cousins. Oh, I don't know what. In terms of what, Ricky Bobby?
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Ricky Bobby with this one. Just that.
Man, I defend most quarterbacks, but I will not defend Kirk Cousins. Seems like a great guy, though. Perfect role model for Fernando Mendoza down in Vegas. We'll take a break. When we come back, speaking of good role models, Jason Strudwick will join us. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, The Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
By PlayAlberta.ca. The Gold Ball jackpot tonight, $42 million. If you miss out on that, you got a chance at the Daily Grand on Thursday. Then on Friday at Lotto Max, an estimated $25 million. PlayAlberta.ca. You can also check out the sports section, get the Jason Gregor Show specials. Remember, make sure to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Right now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Go Auto has donated more than $27.2 million to local charities and takes pride in supporting the communities where they live and do business. GoAuto.ca. We bring in former NHLer, the co-host of Got Your Back, also Battle of the Blades contestant, runner-up. Jason Strudwick joins us. Struddy, good afternoon. How you doing today?
Great. How's everybody else doing today?
Oh, we're heated here in the Sports 1440 studio. There's a lot of NFL quarterback talk going on right now. So you see this guy twice a year, Struddy. When you think about Jalen Hurts, are you scared? Are you thinking, okay, we got a good matchup? Like, what's the thought process when you look at the Eagles on the schedule led by Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, so I got to be clear. I am a Giants fan, but that doesn't mean I hate the Eagles, right? A lot of times, like, if you like the Oilers, you hate the Flames. That's not me. I happen to respect what the Eagles have done. They've done a really good job with their management, coaching, and all that stuff, and player recruitment or acquirement. So Jalen Hurts, this is what I see. I see a guy who's done really well as a leading, quarterback of a team that's won a Super Bowl, but I still think I would frame him as underachieving. So is he one of the top 5 quarterbacks? I wouldn't have him in that area. Is he top 10? Yeah, he's probably getting closer to that. But just because you've had a lot of success doesn't mean that you're still not able to improve and be even better than he's shown. So I know Lowtide's probably driving off the road and swearing at me. He does that anyways. But that's how I feel about Jalen. What's been the consensus in the old studios?
Well, we have Mackenzie working here, who is also a fan of the Eagles. And in the roundtable, she just thought maybe a little underrated and, treated unfairly. I don't want to put words exactly in her mouth, but I like him. And I've said this. I think that if you threw him in a quarterback competition with these guys with Laser Rocket's arm, yeah, he might not look like the best. He might fall out of the top 10, but then you add the element of his mobility. Declan brought up, he's had a whole bunch of new offensive coordinators. Also, he wins games and he's won a Super Bowl. So I think he's fine. He's a football player. Maybe he's not that, 6'5", 230-pound quarterback that you draw up, but is he the 17th best quarterback? That's where the Athletic had them in their tier list. I don't think so. I mean, if I want to win a football game, I think there's a few guys on that list that I put Jalen Hurts above.
Oh, 17th. I didn't realize that. That's pretty damn low.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think, I thought he'd be 10 to 15. That's kind of where I would place him. So I guess I'm not that far out, but a guy winning does matter. Now, let's look at a guy who came a little earlier, like Eli Manning. Now, Eli, he had his big moments in big games, and beating Tom Brady was huge, obviously. But again, I don't know that you'd say he's the greatest quarterback of his generation because he won two Super Bowls. I think it does help you, but winning does matter. I truly do feel, because if it was easy to win, everybody would win, and that's not the case. So I think 17's low. And again, I'm a Giants fan, and I'm saying that. So I think you got to be a little bit careful where you place a guy who's done a pretty good job. Yeah,
if that's where the consensus ranking was, I would say, okay, he's probably underrated. I don't think I would have him there, but we'll wait and see. Maybe that changes within a couple weeks here. But what I do know is that the Eagles, in all likelihood, are going to win a lot of football games. Now, I don't know strategies. You see the news. We'll stick with the NFL for a few minutes here. Aaron Donald working out with the Rams today, obviously with Myles Garrett coming over in the offseason. That's a pretty big acquisition. They were, in my opinion, the second best team in the NFL. The only problem being the Seahawks were the best team and, eliminated them from the playoffs. Aaron Donald did not play in 2024. He did not play in 2025. With that being said, he is still, he's 35 years old. Like, I guess in football, there's kind of that benefit where you could bring him in a rotation and work him back into, real football shape. Because I think after 2 years off, a training camp isn't enough. But what do you think about Aaron Donald potentially returning to this Rams team?
Well, it hasn't been a secret. They were talking about it, and the coaching staff was talking about him coming back. What I'm surprised on, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he didn't join them the first little bit in training camp because it wasn't close to home. So I think that now he's just joined it now. I might be wrong, but that's what I think I read. So listen, Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald join your group is good. Even though he's been out for a while, he still will be an impactful player. He's smart. He will work himself into shape. And I think as the season goes on, that makes it, he gets better. The problem is, are there injuries on the way back to NFL conditioning, right? Does he have any issues? Is he going to, tweak something or whatever. And that, I think there's always that fear, but he doesn't have to be the stud he was a couple of years ago. He can come in and be a support player. I think is downplaying it, but he doesn't have to be an absolute stud. They've got a pretty good group there. He can be, just a bonus and keep adding and his experience and all that. So I love this move. Luckily my team's not going to have to deal with that too much. But I think that group is going to be pretty tough to beat this year. And you bring back a guy like him with that pedigree, even if he's facing some challenges getting back into playing shape, I would take that risk via them.
100%. I'm with you. And this is one of the greatest to ever do it. He's a Hall of Famer when he stays out of the league long enough. And I think you have that luxury with him being a defensive lineman that, okay, let's pick our spots. Let's work you in slowly. And hopefully by the time you get to November, December, assuming there are no setbacks, he's ready to go. As Jason Strudwick, former NHLer, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Now, if we turn our attention to the NHL strategy, I don't know if you saw the report, the Detroit Red Wings hiring a firm to assist the GM search to see who will eventually take over for Steve Yzerman. What do you think about bringing them in? Do they not have the people in-house to try to make this proper decision?
So the Toronto Maple Leafs did the same thing. And my initial reaction was why? Why do you need to bring someone else in to look for it? You should, between the ownership and, others within that group, that have put the list together. And the more I thought about it, I actually started to like him. This is why. A group of people within that organization will have their biases. I don't like Connor Halley or I like Jason Strudwick or whatever, right? For whatever reason. Not that a firm might not have biases, but it should be less biased. They should be able to say, okay, we're just going to, what are the options out there? What are the best candidates we can put together without biases? Now, if you're representing different people, I think that makes it a little bit more challenging. But I want to believe that on top of the list you may put together as a group, they'll bring you a group that is less people that maybe you haven't thought of and or you don't have a bias against. So I like it for that. So I think basically what I'm saying is you're trying to get a bigger pool and a bigger net of perhaps people that would make sense for your organization. So yes, I am for it. Initially, when I heard it with the Maple Leafs and other teams, I was against it. But upon further reflection, I am supportive of it.
I can get behind it after that explanation. Now, Sean Horkov is there handling the day-to-day GM duties. You were a teammate of Sean Horkov. You heard him getting berated walking down the hallway down at Rexall back in the day. Did you foresee this happening, day-to-day, getting to interact with him, seeing his knowledge of the game? Did you foresee down the road one day he could become an NHL GM?
So two guys for sure. He and Steve Staios. Staios is already there, and Horkov will be there at some point. This is why they loved the communication and talking, interacting, and learning about all the different things going on through teams. And most guys are somewhat interested, but they were really interested. I remember them talking. The way they talk about it and talk to each other and how the system works and the CBA and all that stuff. And it was a lot. And they were in-depth researching, getting to know it. So I'm not surprised these two guys are one on that. They're already, another one on that track already. Plus, you have to love it. You have to love the grind. You have to love being there all the time. GM, people think you just sit back and make a couple calls a year and make trades and sign your first-round pick. I think that is a very small portion of it. You're looking after so many things, responsible for so many different people, hockey ops, basically. And there's a lot of people that are answering to you, and you have to make sure you put forth the right people in that group and the right plan. So there's a ton of work that goes with it. And those two guys are never shy of work, or never shy of putting the work in. So, I was wondering, would Horkov get that opportunity? I don't know. Maybe. Another guy I'd keep an eye on is Scott Nickel. He played in the NHL for quite a few years. A complete rat, an annoying guy, but he was one of my best favorite teammates I ever had. And he's with Nashville, and he's been putting his time in. I hear his name popping up every now and then. Not suggesting you go from Nashville to Detroit, but that's a guy that if I was putting a list together, I would want to interview him as well. So will be interesting. And, Steve Yzerman, no longer there. It's a pretty big franchise icon. Stepping to there will be difficult, but I think there are some there's a lot of work to do with that team. They feel like they're kind of half there. Yzerman got Tampa to a point where they weren't half there. He wasn't able to do it with the Red Wings. So now someone else to get in. There's some nice pieces there. The Larkin issue, but there are some holes in that team and some contracts I think they'd like to have back. Jason
Strudwick joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. So you talked about Horkov and Staios guys that you saw potentially getting into management. Did you have any former teammates that you thought might go the coaching route?
Well, the coach, I mean, I'm cherry picking, but the guy down in Calgary, Ryan Huska, played with him in junior. Same thing. He was a really smart student of the game. And a lot of times you hear these guys that, they played hockey, maybe didn't make it to the highest levels. They were all students of the game. Think of Chris Knobloch. Think of, Ryan Huska, Mike Babcock. All these guys, now these are local guys, but names that people will know. Maybe they didn't make it the furthest in the game as players, but they were really good learners of the game. Mark Crawford and
Did we lose?
Know it about.
We got you, Struddy. I think we lost you for a second there.
Oh, can you hear me? Yeah.
Right after Mark Crawford, you faded away.
Yeah, sorry, Mark Crawford. So all those guys that guys that didn't make it, to be 1,000-game NHL players, but they loved hockey. They played it, and you have to learn the game. And quite honestly, guys like myself, further down the lineup, you really have to know the game because you can't make up for your errors with just pure athletic genius, right? Or skills or talent. You kind of have to learn it. So that's kind of how it works. So Ryan Huskin there, Laddie Smead, not surprised. He's taking the opportunities that have been given him to kind of learn and to grow. And I think that he's doing the right way. Guys, everyone wants to be an NHL coach, but I think it takes time to get there. And I think that, going through the different steps and working your way up and getting a body of work and understanding how you function and how you want to coach, I think is really important. Because I think just like players have an identity, I think coaches need to develop an identity of how they handle players, assistant coaches, GMs, the media, their system play, all that kind of stuff, development personally and for their team. So there's lots of things that go into it. Even in my own, minor coaching days, I've grown a lot as a minor coach. No aspirations to go professionally, but you grow and you learn and you figure things out. So I think that, Laddie is the guy to keep an eye on as well as he kind of moves through his career the next 5 to 10 years.
Struddy, let's look at the football team in town, the Elks. Good turnout on Saturday night, over 31,000, a competitive game, and now you turn your attention to the Montreal Alouettes, who are a very good team in their own right in Montreal on Saturday. Just your thoughts on the team coming off the loss and then going into another very tough game coming up Saturday.
Well, first off, let's talk about the fan turnout. I think that was really good. Yeah, it's a Riders game, but who cares? There was 30-some thousand people in there, and it was a fun game to watch. Wasn't there myself, but other people that were there said it was fun to be there, and it was a fun game to watch. Came down to the end. A couple, I think, penalties that the team would like to have back. Even Killam had a penalty he'd probably like to have back. So I think that that's something that they can improve on, right? You can improve on your choices in the penalties you take and kind of let your emotions get out away from you. So I think that's really important. And you're looking at Montreal, they are a good team. They've been proven to be a good team. They're well coached. And so for the Elks, nothing should really change. They're off to a great start. They're one of the best teams in the league. And I'm saying they're one of the best teams in the league. Their record says that. They beat a good team. Now they beat another good team. They like to beat, the Montreal again. So I'm looking forward to this game on Saturday to see how they react. But I think the mindset in that room has to be, oh, no, we're not, or that we are a good team. We deserve this record. We are a good team, not, oh, we're lucky we got here. I think that's when it gets dangerous. Believe in what you're doing. But with guys like Killam and Hervey and Morris, I don't think that'll be a message that won't be given to these players heading into, the next part of the season.
Struddy, you are not shy. You've had rants in the past, and yesterday in 5 questions, Declan asked a really good question, and I immediately thought of you. It was the Mount Rushmore of people that suck. And so people that don't signal. I had people that don't pick up after their dogs, or they don't clean up their mess at fast food restaurants. My other one, people that leave their shopping carts, really far away, and employees have to come out and deal with it. I want to ask you quickly, anything you want to rant about, any people that suck that you just want to, throw under the bus right now?
Those are some of my favorites for sure. Like the shopping cart thing, I don't get it. Just be a good human. Just run your shopping cart back in there. Those are tough ones to say. I'll leave you with this though. When there's a garbage can and you throw something in the garbage and you miss it and you just leave it on there. First off, obviously you're not a good athlete, so you can't hit a 4-foot shot to drop your garbage in there. But if you do, just be the good human. Go over and pick it up, put it in the barrel. I mean, I've missed shots too, and I go pick it up and put it in. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how we're supposed to treat each other. So that is something I think we have to get in. I'm guessing Declan misses his fair share of shots on those garbage dumps, but he also doesn't go and pick them up.
You know what? He's actually taken 2 from across the studio the last 2 days and hit them.
Wow.
The guy's on fire right now. So he does miss. He's had his fair share of misses. He walks, he puts them back in. But today, I got to give him credit, actually. He's hit 2 shots, and he was like standing up when you said that. So I had to make sure I brought that up.
All right. I apologize. I didn't realize they had Steph Curry on the staff.
He's heating up. So you haven't had any run-ins with dog parks or anything like that? Nothing, everything's good still?
No, ever since my dog was attacked at the dog park, I haven't gone back. So, yeah, that's one thing. If your dog's aggressive, don't take it to the dog park. Or if you do, leave it on your leash. I don't understand why you'd have an aggressive dog off the leash. And every dog has their own temperament. I get it. But if yours is aggressive, leave it on the leash. I don't get why you take it off. My little dog got attacked by 2 dogs. And I had to punch the one dog off in the chest, and I got it off, and it yelped. So, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I hurt a dog, but it was attacking my dog. So, an eye for an eye, I guess, Connor.
Self-defense. Like any dog, good dog owner should. Well, Strutty, thanks for doing this today. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
See you guys. Enjoy the game Saturday.
There you go. Jason Strodick, former NHLer. 1/3 of Got Your Back. Join us every week here on the Jason Gregor Show. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will get to 5 questions with Declan Kruger. It is the Jason Gregor Show, of course, here on the AM dial. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, tune in, Radio Player Canada, or watch on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products in manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Johnny Radio here at No Bull RV, and I was just talking to Rick Showers about throughput. I didn't know what that was until he explained it. Throughput means RVs coming in and RVs going out. But what we've got here at the moment is a lot of RVs in to the point where the lot is full. That's not so good for him, but really good for you because that means selection is at its maximum. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob.
It's Johnny Radio. Anywho, in order to ease the strain, Rick here went to the finance company. He put them in a headlock until they agreed to give his customers a 2.99% finance rate OAC, which they did, but they can only offer such an absurdly low rate for a very short time. It's really just a week. Well, less than a week at this point, and until Saturday, let's put it that way. But that gives you a few more days to find the RV you want and bring it home.
Right you are, Johnny.
So come say hi to me, Johnny Radio, here at No Bull RV in Leduc, which they tell me is somewhere near Edmonton. What do I know? I'm from Hollywood.
If you change your mind.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 4:48. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, intern Connor with you here as well. Rolling through this Wednesday afternoon, approaching the final hour. Mark Spector going to join us at the top of the hour. We got Cam Tate's 2-minute warning stats of the day and more. Kind of open up things here as well. So keep the text rolling in, 1-833-401-1440. We are going to get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick. We welcome your input. Text in, answer the questions. The Brick is your choice for furniture, mattresses, and appliances, plus TVs. Shop online or in store for great deals and great quality pieces. Only at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, Connor, question number 1. Ooh, we just had the Strezon segment. What was your favorite Jason Strudwick moment from the NHL?
Okay, like there's many to choose from off the ice. On the ice, I think there's a fair amount as well. Are you going to give an answer here?
Well, my favorite Struddy moment was like playing with him in NHL 12, the video game, probably one of the lower rated seasons of his career. And then just like after that being like, oh, hey, I like know this guy now.
Yeah.
So that would probably be mine.
Really cool to find a play as a guy in a video game. A couple for me, like the shootout for the Rangers, if we're being serious, was pretty iconic. 1-for-1 in shootouts in his career. That's tough to beat. A little quick goal and just the pressure going out there must have been crazy for a guy who's kind of known as a stay-at-home tough defenseman to have to go out there. It was unbelievable. So that would be one. And this one, I wish I had the video, but I'm pretty sure that it was taken down off YouTube. But I think it was against the Atlanta Thrashers. And it's a puck in the offensive zone. And the puck is dropped and Struddy goes straight into the opposing goalie. And you have the Atlanta broadcast, and they're like, Struddy knew exactly what he was doing. He got what he wanted because he obviously had to fight right after that. He was just trying to shake things up a little. So those would be the top 2. One serious one and one that was a little bit more fun. But Struddy, no doubt, one of the best characters in the NHL.
Question number 2. Went out to Seattle, talked to Jen Mueller. What will the Seahawks record be this season?
That's a good question. 14-3 last season. I think it's going to be tough to duplicate that because, you've got some good teams on the schedule, but there's also some wins here that I see for sure. So if I scroll through quickly, the Rams, that's a tough one. They could go 1-1 against the Rams. They could go 1-1 against the Niners. if the Niners can stay healthy. Broncos, I think they beat the Broncos. But there's probably going to be a fall at some point. So I'll say 13-4 for the Seattle Seahawks. Still a very good record. There's a chance you go 0-2 against the Rams. That's 2 games, actually, in the final 3 weeks of the season. So, like, these two teams could be going head-to-head, be within a game of each other, and have it all determined. They'll get the Panthers in between. So, I'm going to go still a very good record, a very good team, 13 wins. How about you, Duck?
Yeah, I went through their schedule quickly. I think I like 11-6.
Just out of curiosity, who do you have their losses coming to?
So I had them splitting with the Rams and Niners. So 2 losses there. I had them losing to the Eagles. I had them losing to the Broncos. The Chiefs, actually, funnily enough. And I guess I had one more in there, probably.
Maybe the Chargers. Who knows?
Could have been the Chargers at home.
Could be
Could
anything.
have been the Chargers at home.
They do have to go to Denver. That's tough. They go to Philly. That's going to be a late December game, right before Christmas. Can't wait. There's some tough road games
Bears
there.
as well.
Bears will be a challenge. At home, but that's a good team. Tough schedule.
Question number 3. Rank these 4 quarterbacks: CJ Stroud, Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, and Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go 4 through 1. And I'm just going as quarterbacks, not team success. I'm going to take Stroud, Darnold, Lawrence, Nix. Because Trevor Lawrence, for me, is just so inconsistent. If he gets it going consistently for a year or 2, he could leapfrog Bo Nix. But right now, yes, Stroud is at the bottom, followed by Darnold, Lawrence, Nix. I kind of think they all have flashes of good ball. Some of them have higher ceilings. Like Darnold, I think, is just going to be solid. He's not going to be a huge drop-off. But I think that Nix and Lawrence have a higher ceiling. So that would be my order. What do you got?
This is fun because I think like you could make an argument for any of these guys being number 1 and being number 4, right? I honestly, like, doesn't Trevor Lawrence just feel like it should be the one you're taking?
Should be, yeah.
Right? But like then you think about it, you don't want to do that. So I think this is going to sound crazy. I might go Sam Darnold number 1, honestly.
Okay.
But I also, that sounds even crazier. So you know what? Bo Nix 1 for some reason. Trevor Lawrence 2, Sam Darnold 3, CJ Stroud 4.
That's what I had.
But in reverse, right?
Oh, I think maybe in reverse, yeah.
Yeah, because I think you had CJ Stroud at the top.
No. I went 4-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I think I go exactly what you did.
Great minds, man.
Yeah.
Great question.
Question number 4. Which NHL team will have the biggest regression this season?
Good question. So probably to be a team that's higher up in the standings. I'm going to say the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know. They had a lot of bad hockey before they really ramped things up. Maybe that creeps back into their game. I don't want to see it. I like that team, but that's just a really tough division. You're going to have games against the Lightning, the Canadiens. I think the Panthers are going to be back. I think the Maple Leafs will be stronger this year. So in terms of points, I don't want it to be the Sabres, but I'll throw the Sabres out there. Who do you got?
I was thinking the Penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they were some, crazy 115-point team, but just think like, I don't know. At some point, you just kind of got to pick the wheels to fall off, right?
Yeah.
To not make the playoffs. So maybe I'd go with them. Number 5, ripped off, pardon my take, completely from this morning's episode. Thought it was a great topic, though. What is your Mount Rushmore of places to drink that isn't a bar?
Ooh, man. Places to drink that is not a bar. Mm-hmm. Okay, on the Mount Rushmore, no particular order. Hotel room in Vegas. Just hang with the boys. You went down, you're walking the strip, you get back. You could probably say hotel room of any sort, but just hanging out with the friends. On my stag, that was probably the most fun I had. There's a group of us just hanging out in a hotel room in the morning, having a couple beers. I walked in, I had one thrown at me. Always a good time.
I remember that. It was a blast.
It was a blast, yeah. All the boys were there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hey, when you get married, we'll do it again. I'll say upper section Y at Commonwealth Stadium. It was always a good time. for me. Spent a lot of nights up there having the beers and then walking down to the South End Zone bar where they were like $5 instead to get a little bit cheaper. That's a good one. I would be crazy not to say. Now, does a pool swim up bar count as a bar?
Mackenzie nodded yes.
Yeah.
Mackenzie nodded yes.
Okay, then out at the lake, I'll say, like just hanging out. And then fall kind of close but different. You're still out at the lake or camping, but around the fire.
Okay.
So I got the hotel room, the sporting event, the beach, the lake, and then the campfire.
Bunch of really good picks.
What do you got?
Wedding is
Okay.
my 1-1. This one's a personal pick, but I do think people can relate. But on the couch watching college football on a Saturday. My number 3, this one kind of falls into a specific age group. So you got to be like 15 to 19, but I'll say a house party. And then my last one, I would say a patio with your friends during the day in summer when you haven't quite figured out the rest of the day's plans.
What kind of patio? Like a bar patio?
Oh.
Because if my swim up bar doesn't count.
Right. No, it's fair. I'll take that one out. You know what? I'll take that one out, and I will say, instead of that, I'll say a boat.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Houseboating, great. Garage, I think, would have been a good one as well. Mackenzie, you want to get in on this topic here? You're nodding along with some of them. I mean, take those headphones off if you make it a little easier on yourself.
Oh, really quickly before you
Yeah.
go, someone on the text line said golf course needs to be an honorable mention.
Yes.
Great shout. Great shout.
Golf course. What about like a shower beer? Like you're getting ready to go out.
But it is getting drunk. How many beers are you consuming in there?
Okay,
we can for the
Yeah.
friendliness of the CRTC, we can say just having drink.
responsibly.
Or-
Shower beer is a good one.
This is probably limited to females, but I love like getting ready and having a drink. Like when I'm getting ready to go out, like that's awesome.
I remember I dated a girl once. She was having a glass of wine while she was doing her makeup, and I knocked it over, and she just ripped into it.
Yeah,
So I can see.
I would end you.
Yeah.
Also, what was I gonna say?
You're from the country. You can say bush party.
Okay, bush party. There's like nothing.
I thought about it. It's not a bad pick. I think they're better.
I
though.
have many memories at the Shack in Viking, if anyone is familiar. And also, like, not at a bar, but like a diner when you are kind of also in the middle of nowhere and you're having like breakfast and you have maybe like a beer mosa that day. I think those are elite. That's all I can think of off the top of my head right now.
I like it. I like deck, like the one you said, like when you're sitting with the friends, the group,
Yeah.
and you're just like maybe on a back patio, like your friend's house. Like, what are we doing today? What are you doing tonight? And then it just kind of snowballs or escalates up there. Like that's a good one.
Yeah, like also, and this seemed like too much of a cop out, but like when you're at a restaurant, like a legit restaurant, not a bar, and you're like planning, like maybe it's like lunch or something, and you're planning a similar kind of thing, but
A tailgate. Elks tailgate.
That's a good one. We have Kyle says airport. I know it's a bar, but it's elite. Hacksaw says on a plane. Brian says walking the strip in Vegas with a beer. See, Brian, and that's kind of what I was saying too. Like that and then going up to the hotel. Like that's good. You're just feeling good in Vegas, having a good time. Paul says drinking on your own roof. That's like workaholic style. Max says, ooh, shower beer. Good call, Mackenzie. The shower beer is classic. Horace says, you roofs don't golf? Yeah, I only golf once a year. So, I mean, I'm not as into it. Brian Fan says the locker / dressing room. Yeah. I would say the Duke would probably bring that one up for sure. He's talked about that a couple times in his time. Beach, deck, campfire, gallery section at Rexall from Hampton Steve. Steven's got the dressing room after hockey. Classic one. Dill says snowboarding beers. Yeah, like the amount of people that I've known in my time that go snowboarding and then pop out the fireball on the top of the hill. I've seen a few of that in my time. There's some good ones. That's a good question, Jack.
oh, I ripped it completely from Pardon My Take. That one had zero original thought to it, but thank you.
Irrelevant. Wesley Snipes says riding motor. Mark's got the OTR. Steve says the beer after the beer. Is it a tradition to have champagne at the end of a balloon flight? I don't know. I've never been on a hot air balloon. I think I refuse to do that. Too high up. Too scary. Michael says chairlift. We're way up. There's a lot of good ones. Keep them rolling in here. 1-833-401-1440. Your favorite place outside of a bar to consume a beverage or two. JC says a beer at the racetrack. Another good one. We'll have to ask our next guest. He was on the golf course yesterday. Was he having any? We'll have to find out. Before we get to Mark Spector, though, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Employee pricing is on now. You pay what they pay. Get a great deal at Northgate and check out the Corvette showroom. Shop now at northgategm.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Scores from around the majors. Blue Jays beat the Astros 5-4 in 10. Cubs beat the Dodgers 7-6. Rangers 6-0 over the Giants. And the Rays 4-0 over the Rockies. Right now, 4 games tied at 0-0. The Angels and the Orioles, Mets and Guardians. And then 2 games tied at 0-0, but with a rain delay on the top of the first. The Cards and the Yankees and the Nats and Phillies. Only game going on right now with the score sees the A's over the Reds 1-0 in the middle of the second. Hlinka Gretzky final from earlier today was 6-2 for Slovakia over Sweden. Currently, Finland leading Czechia 5-2 in the third period, and Sweden and Canada just getting going in the first. News from around the sporting world is Aaron Donald officially worked out for the LA Rams today, while Steph Diggs expected to sign a 1-year deal with the Washington Commanders. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild. Online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Not sure what wheels fit your vehicle? Evolve Wheels and Tires gives you honest advice from enthusiasts who know fitment inside and out. Whether it's your truck, SUV, or sports car, they have you covered. Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Welcome to the Bro Zone, the ultimate garage setup for checking out the big game.
70-inch TV? Check. Surround sound? Check. Mini fridge fully stocked? Check.
But a legendary Bro Zone needs legendary snacks.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky. It's the perfect game day companion when you're watching from the ultimate fan cave.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Thinking about switching vehicles? Think Subaru. The Subaru Crosstrek was named the 2026 Auto Trader Best Subcompact SUV. And once you drive it, you'll understand why. With impressive fuel efficiency, legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, and generous ground clearance, the Crosstrek is ready for your Monday commute and your Saturday adventure. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.49%. So, before you decide your next SUV, come experience the Crosstrek for yourself. Visit your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
This is the moment you become queen.
The global phenomenon returns, only on Crave. HBO's House of the Dragon is back for its most fiery season yet. Don't miss new episodes of breathtaking spectacle, shocking betrayal, and explosive drama.
You are the queen of dragons. You have an absolute power within your grasp.
House of the Dragon. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Japa Machinery. Big jobs, tight spaces, serious reliability. Emerald Equipment is now your local Yanmar dealer. Compact track loaders, mini excavators, wheel loaders. Tough, reliable machines built for any job. JapaMachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$14.40 brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, the gold ball jackpot, $42 million. If you miss that, tomorrow you got the daily grand, and then on Friday, the Lotto Max, $25 million. You can also check out the sports section, get the Gregor Show special, always boosted. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and intern Connor with you here, rolling through this Wednesday edition of the show. Declan had a great question. Outside of a bar, great spots to have a beer or two or three. JC says a beer at the racetrack is good. Mikey says post-grass cut beer. Paxos got the hot tub. Bob, I love this one. I've only experienced it twice, but the bus beer on the way to your resort in Mexico. Great way to kick off a vacation. Mr. Maris says day drinking at the dog beach is awesome. And Max says, not sure what the legality of it, but a beer while floating in the river in a tube is pretty great. Yeah, I've heard a few things. You know, use your common sense. Don't flaunt it. And I feel like you can't get away with it, but hey, you got to be responsible. I don't know the laws. Maybe check in on that one before you actually head down. Right now, we'll get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They're hiring operators, pipelayers, and topmen. Work for a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits. And they're huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca and search careers. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joins us here. And Spec, you were on the golf course yesterday. We had a few people mention the golf course beer is a top one. If I asked you that question, outside of the bar, what's the best spot to have a drink or two?
Oh, boy. How long's your show?
Well, we got 50 minutes left, plus breaks. Is there a bad spot? Maybe that's the easier way to answer that question.
Yeah, it's about where you are, right? Like, it's not about the beer as much as, I mean, if you have a great beer in a great spot, then you're in nirvana here. But like, I'm thinking of, like, I can recall being in the Czech Republic and being along a little river. There was a great brewery making the tastiest Czech beer, and they had a nice little beer garden right along the river, and you have a beer there. That was great. Backside of Lake Louise or the Mid-Mountain Chalet at Marmot, awfully good place to have a beer on a good ski day, especially when it's sunny and you're sitting outside and you can smell the barbecue, right? All those spots, like, to me, it's the beer is one thing, but it's sort of where you are, isn't it? Isn't it like a beer at Wrigley Field? You know, I don't know how good the beer is, but it sure tastes great when you're sitting in Wrigley watching a ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I can't say regularly, but one of the things when I went to Toronto, the first thing I had to do was go to a Jays game and grab a beer and a hot dog, and that was one that stood out to me. I said in my list, upper section Y at Commonwealth was always a great spot, especially on a hot day. You can't beat it.
No, for sure, right? You got a football game going on in front of you, surrounded by good friends, all of that. Like it's really the atmosphere, and then you have the beer comes in second, right? You can have the tastiest beer in the world, but if you're drinking it at the garbage dump, it's just not so great, is it?
No, definitely not quite as good in that way. We're talking about Commonwealth. Let's look at the Edmonton Elks. So the practice today, we've got the injury report. Some good news. You're getting players healthy. Once again, David Beard was a full participant with a calf injury. Nick Anderson at linebacker, where they've actually shown pretty good depth. He practices fully for the second straight day. He had the hamstring injury. But unfortunate news for Joel DeBlanco. He's out with a hamstring. And then Kenny Logan, who appeared to hurt his knee in the fourth quarter on Saturday, looks like he's limited. So this Edmonton Elks team, it's kind of a step forward, but also a step back. The good news is they do have the depth, we think, to carry on here.
Well, listen, that's football. Like guys get hurt. There's no such thing as a football game where you come out of 100% healthy people. It's a blunt force trauma sport, and you lose guys, and that's just the way it is. Everybody does. You just hope you don't lose your most important guys. That's all. So, they got a test. They've lost one. Good teams don't want to lose two in a row, and now they're going into the home of probably the best team in the league next to them, right alongside them, Montreal Alouettes. I think it's a 1:00 game on Saturday afternoon. So, if they can avoid losing two in a row, they got to come up with something big. They got to walk into Montreal, beat a really good team in the road. If you can do that, man, you got something going on. That's for sure.
I was reading a Dave Naylor article earlier today just about the quarterback position in the CFL. And, obviously the good ones are there, but Bo Levi Mitchell, 36, Zach Claros, 37, Trevor Harris is 40, Cody Fajardo, still a vet in this league, but 34 years old, younger compared to those guys. We've seen the injuries pop off. And in the past few years, like these quarterbacks coming into those systems, they don't seemingly have it. What do you think the fix is here? Is it just patience and maybe you don't become a CFL quarterback a starter till your late 20s?
I don't know. It's a good question, right? That's a big crop of important quarterbacks that are all, mid 30s to later. And, there was a time when we felt like the ideal quarterback in this league was a scrambler, a rollout guy who could scramble and use his feet and get you, yards and sort of, like I'm trying to, like Damon Allen used to be, Tracy Ham, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now the best ones of those, the best quarterbacks like that used to come up to the CFL back in the day, they stay in the States, right? The NFL wants that guy now. So, Canada's not getting as many of those scrambling, smaller, slippery quarterbacks. Like here, the list of guys you just named are generally old, slow white guys, right? Pretty much. That's what I'm hearing there.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, all of them. So, I don't know where we're going. Like if you ask me, for my money to build a CFL offense, I want a rollout quarterback and a guy that is a threat to run. But all those guys are winning cups, and none of those guys really fit that bill. So where are we with quarterbacks? Who's, you tell me who's the, build a Canadian Football League quarterback these days. Who are we looking for? What are the skills we want?
I mean, I think mobility is a one that you have it, but it's kind of in that situation where in case of emergency, you don't have to, first thought doesn't have to be to run. And we've seen quarterbacks like that. Trey Ford obviously like to use his mobility, but I think you have to pass. I think you have to have the arm strength to throw to the boundaries. I think Nathan Rourke would be kind of my prototype for a CFL quarterback. And obviously a guy who grew up in Canada, which is a bonus, certainly doesn't hurt to have that. But, Vernon Adams has been incredible this year, but he's still 33 years old, right? And he's an older quarterback. Now, the numbers would say from what we've seen, he's probably still got 6-7 years if he wants to play, got to avoid the injury, but it took time. So I think for me, it's probably not a skill set, but it's organizations willing to put in the time to develop and also players being patient and willing to learn.
Yeah, and I guess I'd say to you that in a league where there's this much turnover, how are we developing? right? Like it's difficult to develop when you're turning players over all the time. And is a guy willing to sit on a Canadian Football League roster, an American kid, as a quarterback, as a backup, and not play for 3 years before he learns the game? Do they have that patience? Is it worth it when you're only making, what's that guy making for a salary? Is he making 50 grand Canadian, 60 grand Canadian? He's an American guy. He's probably got a wife and kids at home. So I guess that would be my question is, you're right. You should develop a young guy underneath of a Fajardo, right? And, Fajardo's a smart, experienced quarterback, and he would have a huge hand in developing that younger player. But does that younger player hang around to get groomed for 3 or 4 years up here? I'm not sure he does anymore.
Yeah, and I saw an image pop up a couple of days ago, and it was Ricky Ray with the Argos, and it was Trevor Harris and Zach Calaro standing with him, kind of the understudies, right?
Right.
Guys who were patient, willing to learn. Eventually, they got their shot elsewhere and have hung around and had really good careers. But like you say, you got to get paid. You got to feed your family. So I can understand why some players might say, you know what, the dream's over. Head back south and get a job. Use that degree you have, hopefully, and move on from football.
And as we know, you make more on an NFL practice roster than you do playing the CFL. So, that's probably what works against, Canadian guys. That's one thing, especially if you get a guy working in his hometown. That's why there's so many Canadians on special teams and stuff. But if you're talking about an American guy that's going to come up here and take, and make backup money for a longer length of time and not really play much, I don't know how many of those guys you're going to find, Connor.
Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us here. And there were some reports back earlier today, I believe it was Helene St. James, out of Detroit, that the Red Wings will be using a firm to look for their next general manager, Sean Horkoff, handling the day-to-day duties in the meantime. And I was a little bit unsure of that, but I thought Jason Strudwick had a good point. There could be some bias, and with the firm, similar to what the Maple Leafs have done, maybe you just go out there and find someone without that bias. So I want to ask you, what was your initial thoughts when you saw that news, the Red Wings using a firm to find the heir apparent to Steve Yzerman?
Yeah, like I remember when Toronto did it, and I thought, here's a team with 6 assistant GMs, and they're hiring a firm to find the next GM. Like, if you got 6 guys, don't you pick from that crop? If none of those guys are ready to step up, maybe you haven't been hiring very well. You got 6 AGMs. One of them should be your next GM. As for Detroit, that's all I got for you on that. Is if this does strip away, like, I guess if I'm Chris Ilitch and I fired Steve Yzerman, do I want Steve Yzerman making the hire? Probably not. If I'm Chris Ilitch, do I feel like I'm well enough armed to make that hire? Apparently not. He wants some help. He doesn't know the hockey world well enough, and he's a businessman. I don't expect him to. He's the owner of a team. So, I kind of feel like the hockey world isn't that big a place. That if a guy like Ilitch sends out on the National Hockey League, lines of communication that we have a GM job that's open, I would think you could sit back and let the resumes roll in. Do I need someone from the outside to go tell me the top 5 or 6 younger or assistant GMs or former GMs? I think we could probably name them all. And if you can't name them, they're going to apply anyhow. So I don't know. It's a bit of a sign of weakness. I feel like an organization should have their fingerprints on the game enough, and they should know what's going on, and they should be able to network a little. You don't need to hire some bunch of New York lawyers to tell you who's a smart hockey people. I hope you don't anyway.
Yeah, that was my initial thoughts as well. Before we let you go here, your Cubbies rattle off 3 straight wins against the Dodgers. The Dodgers have now lost 6 in a row. Maybe they're just waiting to ramp it up here for the postseason, but how are you feeling about those Cubbies right now, Spec?
Oh, boy, they're mashing it, too. Like home runs left, right, and center. Crow Armstrong, PCA hit the first pitch of the ball game, bottom of 1, so the first Dodgers pitch out of the yard today. And they're good. Cubs brought in 5 guys at the deadline, so they got it going on. You just beat the Dodgers 3 in a row. You don't do that for fun. Like, the Dodgers are the they're the measuring stick. So, you know what? We're going to have a really good playoffs. I still hold out some hope for the Jays. They win today?
They did, yeah, in extras. Yeah, Ernie Clement did a 2-run shot in the 10th.
Right. Where are they? How many games out of the wild card spot?
Well, I think after the win, it was 3.5.
Yeah, so it's not over for the Jays. I still hold out some hope. But I think don't they go into Chicago right away?
I believe so. Yeah,
I think Gossman starts against them right away. Gossman's first start as a Cub, I believe, is against the Jays. So that's also must-watch TV right there.
100%. We the people keeping us online here talking about how weird it looked to see Gausman in those Cubbies colors. But
yeah, they interviewed him today, and it did look kind of weird. But you know what? Life goes on, man. He was a good pitcher for a long time for the Jays, and let's hope he's a good pitcher for at least for a short time for the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do when the lights are the brightest in the postseason. Spec, you know what? Maybe one of the top beers would be the post-radio interview beer.
Oh, yeah, that's always a good beer. In fact, sometimes I crack one about halfway through, just between you and me.
Keep that water bottle going. Yeah, never ask what's in the cup. We never will. Spec, have a good rest of your day, and you'll be back chatting with Gregor tomorrow.
All right, man. Great working with you, Connor.
Absolutely. There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us as he always does. Oh, the text rolling in. I know people are listening. Guzman starting Friday. Cosman's not getting the Jays. He's not starting. He's starting on Friday when they're there. Okay. JC says, I know you guys said sports venue, but there's nothing like having a beer at the good old Rexall place. JC, you're right. To the senior fans out there, cannot beat that one. One night, I swear to you, we went, my buddy Greg and I, and we got 2 beers each. Went back to our seats, sat down. The beer tasted like Skittles. It was the best beer I've ever had. We drank them both. We went right back to the same table to get 2 more. Wasn't the same. Was something in it? I don't know, but it was delicious. And yeah, those Rexall beers had an impact for sure. We'll take a break. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440. We got the stats of the day. Also, Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Keep it locked here on Sport 40. It is the Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we got a few to share. Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Diamond Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena, the Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku. Features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Life doesn't always line up with Election Day. If you'll be away, busy, or just want to skip the line, you can vote by mail with a special ballot. No reason is required. Simply request your special ballot online, by phone, or from your local returning office. Just remember, completed ballots must be mailed to Elections Alberta and received by 5 p.m. on October 16th. So why wait? Find everything you need to get started at specialballot.elections.ab.ca. Be referendum ready. A message from Elections Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Gold Ball Jackpot, an estimated $42 million. Get your ticket, PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger. We got Mackenzie McLennan and Connor the intern with you here. Lots of texts are rolling in here. Going back to 5 questions. Coach Vic says, I grew up in Viking, the Shack. It was a while ago, but interesting. Well, I don't exactly know what it was. My family's from Viking, actually. I used to go out there as a kid all the time, participated in the golf tournament, but I was a kid. I wasn't really looking at the Shack. So I think I got to get some more information on that one as well. Jane Victoria says, hey, guys, great shows all day. Well, thanks, Jay. Been listening all week on some of the Howard stuff. I believe I am so out on this guy. He has skill, but wrong place, wrong time, I believe. As for drinking, when I drank, garage with the buddies, patio beers beginning of the year, post-tour beer, as in the very first after months, and pit party hockey day in Canada. The garage beer is a great one because, like, you know, maybe it's the basement beer. Like, I don't know if kids still play beer pong, but like we loved it. Or flip cup, just a great way to start the day. Connor, you're the youngest one here, and you're nodding. The kids still do it. The kids are all right. Always had a good time doing that. You could just hang out with the boys and the girls. Everyone's included. Have a good time. The good old days. Steve's got the after joint beer. I've never smoked a joint, so I can't relate. I got the virgin lungs. I can't handle it. Other ways, yeah, a little beverage or gummy, sure, but I haven't experienced that one. I assume it would be good. Maybe the smoking dries out your throat, so you're like, I need a great beverage, and you go for that one. Hacksaw says, con man in the dressing room after a pickup hockey game with the boys. Yeah, I think that's one of those ones that's just kind of iconic, right? Bring it in there. Got the cooler for after the game. Maybe before. Maybe during. I mean, it's not unknown for that to happen. John says, cons, those Coliseum Rexall beers were the best. I swear the lines for the kegs were never cleaned. The brews got better and better with age. That was the rumor, right, John? That the lines were the reason. I heard people talking about like the crystallization of the alcohol, and when it shot through, it just poured the best brew. We've got Connor, the intern, he's actually from Calgary, Oilers fan, but from Calgary, and said it's the same with the Dome Foam. There's the legend behind those old beers. So maybe if you're trying to relive the old Rexall beers, you got to head down to Calgary before they move out of the Saddle Dome. I don't know. Right now, let's get to the stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. Founded in 2009, they continue to grow. They are hiring general laborers, hydrovac operators, backhoe operator, gas piping technicians, and more. Go to Indeed.com and search All Star Construction. And I was just kind of looking around, and it was on this day. Well, I didn't write the year down, so let's just say 1991, but that's not accurate. Mark McGuire hit his 500th career home run. Since then, 16 players have joined him in that club. You got Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Thomas, A-Rod, Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, Gary Sheffield, Albert Pujols, David Ortiz, Miguel Cabrera was the last to do it, August 22nd in 2021. 4 players have been Red Sox in all time, 3 Yankees. You got 3 Giants from San Francisco and 1 Giant from New York. Now, Declan Kruger, 1 player has hit their 500th career home run in a Blue Jays uniform. Would you, I know you've said you don't like baseball. Would you have a guess?
Oh, not that I don't like baseball.
Or sorry.
Not a baseball guy.
I don't want to put that in there.
1 player's hit their 500th homer in a Blue Jays jersey.
Yeah.
Not hit 500 for the club, right? I just want to be
not for the club, but
that wouldn't be
hit it in that jersey. Yeah.
Oh my day. Let me get the answer from you because I don't even have a guess.
The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. He was the lone one to do it. I first thought would have been Carlos Delgado for me, but he did not quite get there. And it's actually kind of interesting when you look at guys that are close to 500 home runs because we haven't seen a player do it in 4 years. You've got Giancarlo Stanton. He's at 456. Mike Trout, 422. Kind of drops off there. And it makes me think like maybe we don't get there for a little while here. Paul Goldschmidt has 388. Manny Machado has 392. You got Bryce Harper, who's at 387. Aaron Judge, probably going to get there. I think that would be the safe bet. He's done that in just over 5,000 plate appearances. All the other guys are north of 7,200. So he's ripping up the charts. Freddie Freeman at 382, Kyle Schwarber, Nolan Arenado, and Eugenio Suarez at 339. So outside of that, I'm scrolling through here, guys that at some point could make a run. Like Cody Bellinger isn't even halfway there. Jock Peterson, same thing. There's guys who are having great careers and are still young, but not even close to getting there. Now, what would you think is the most common name of the pitchers who gave up those home run balls, Deck? Any idea?
Let's run the ball and say John.
No John.
Tim.
No Tim.
Bill.
Nope.
Nolan.
No.
Okay.
Matt, Mike, and Don. The most common name.
I was in the ballpark.
You were in the ballpark. I know it's the stats of the day, and these are numbers or names, but each of those guys, well, they're different players. No one's ever given up 2 500 home run balls. So that's good for them. But there you go. Hopefully we'll get to see another one. Stanton, he's 44 away. I don't know. Guy's a beast. He could heat up. He's 37, 36 years old. He's only got 3 home runs this year. He's only played in 24 games. I don't know. I think he might fall a little bit short. Brennan says, that was my guess. Delgado. Not Fredhead, Dave Winfield. Kenneth New, the Big Hurt. Frank Thomas. Yeah, an interesting era for the Toronto Blue Jays when the Big Hurt came over. Didn't love the uniforms. I know some of the people want them back. Jay and Victoria said, I can't believe I left out slow pitch beers. Yeah, I mean, any athletic venture, when you throw in a beer, that was like I didn't drink till I was 18. And the first time I had a beer in an athletic setting, that's when I was like, okay, I get it now. After a touch football game, going into the clubhouse and having a jug of beer, I was like, this is unbelievable. This is why I get it. But yeah, Jay and Victoria, I think any kind of athletic venture, it'd be good. Now, we had a text come in from Morgan. Initially, it was addressed to Gregor, but the same question for us, even when he realized Gregor was off. Hey, guys, not sure if you guys have brought this up. Strevler made a video about it. Who wins, a CFL team or an NCAA team? I say CFL for sure. Yeah, I'm with you, Morgan. I think to me, like, these are professional athletes. You're looking at an NCAA team. Even the best teams, like maybe you go back and look at a historically good team and say they could beat a bad pro team. I would listen to it, but that's like looking at maybe like the Hurricanes or LSU of recent years. These are all professional athletes. This is not a good college football team that maybe has 4 or 5 players go and play professionally. They're all pros. So even in the CFL, and if you're making them play CFL rules, you get that waggle incorporated into it. I kind of think it's just an insult to professional athletes to even have that question, because there are a lot of really good players on these NCAA teams. But you got to remember, there's also like walk-ons and 2 1-star prospects. I don't want to discredit them for what they've been able to do. You're playing college ball. That's mighty impressive. But I still think there's a big drop. And if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, question him on it. Call him. Deck, do you disagree? Do you agree? Like a CFL team taking on an SEC team?
Yeah, like it's the closest it's ever been, I think, in the NIL era, where you're getting talent staying for much longer and kind of growing into themselves. But no, we had this. We talked about this on the first ever episode of Elks 101, and no, like I'm taking a CFL team all day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
I do think it's closer than it ever has been before, though.
I'd love to see it. I would pay money. I'd rather watch that than Logan Paul fight a grandpa. I'd rather watch a CFL team play an NCAA team. Don't think it'll ever happen. But yeah, Morgan, I think we're all probably on the same page when it comes to that. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, and we'll wrap up the show. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
You want it? We got it. At Harley Davidson of Edmonton, we have a huge bike inventory just waiting for you to ride. We're not a car dealer. We're your local family bike shop. We are riders supporting riders. Come find your dream bike here at Harley Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980. Find us at hdedmonton.com.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Not sure where to turn? Remember 211, the number to contact for mental health, addiction, and community supports. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7. 211 Alberta. One number, countless connections.
A message from the Government of Alberta.
You've got better things to do than wait for an oil change. Jiffy Lube gets you in and out fast. No appointment necessary. All you have to do is roll into a location near you, and we'll take care of the rest. Every full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube is warranty approved and comes with a 20-point visual inspection.
making sure you get back on the road safely. Find your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca.
You're listening to The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Nation Golf Tournament. Friday, August 28th at Millwoods Golf Course. Golf, drinks, swag, food, and fun. Every swing supports Gregor's grads and helps graduates on graduation day. Sign up at nationexperiences.ca before it sells out.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Go check out the Gregor boosted picks. playalberta.ca/sports. Remember, use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you here today. We're going to get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning in a second, but the Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight, taking on Bellingham. Need a win and a little bit of help to get in. So send your good vibes out to the Riverhawks, and let's hope they can get into the postseason. With that being said, let's get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where their rates never change. No OT charges, furnace repair, and maintenance. Do it now with legacyheating.ca. And of course, you hear it every day here on the Jason Gregor Show. You've got Cam and Eggs in the Morning with Tom Gazzola and other locations around our city. But every day around this time, for the most part, we hand things over to Cam Tate for his 2-minute warning. We'll get to it right now.
Can somebody please connect the dots for me here? Because I'm lost. Anybody? No? Here we are, day 5 of the 8th month. 8! Last full month before the kids go back to school, which, let's be honest, is the only reason half of you are still sane. Meanwhile, out in the fields, our farmer friends are greasing up the combines, the swathers, the grain trucks, checking the augers, patching the tires, making sure the bins are swept out and ready, because that crop isn't going to wait for anybody. Harvest is not coming soon. Harvest is one stiff wind gust away, which means fall's coming, which means, say it with me, hockey season is coming. Detroit Red Wings, ladies and gentlemen, they need a new GM, so naturally, the first move is hire a search firm. A search firm! You own a hockey team worth $1 billion and you can't find one guy who knows what a face-off is? Google exists. Steve Yzerman's now senior advisor, which is corporate speak for, thanks for everything, please vanish quietly. Sean Horkoff's babysitting the job, but plot twist, he's not even allowed to make trades, so he's basically just answering emails. And meanwhile, Dylan Larkin, the captain, has been screaming, "Get me out of here!" for months. Dallas, Vegas, Minnesota, Florida. Pick one, Dylan. They'll take you. A search firm. For this. Are we late? Big deal. This important. So let me get this straight. $1 billion hockey franchise needs a headhunter to find a hockey guy? Did they check LinkedIn? The bar across from the arena? There's 3 GMs in there right now arguing about the salary cap. But seriously, folks, real questions here. Who actually wants this job with a captain halfway out the door? What's the return on Larkin even look like by February after his trade value's been circling the drain since April? If Steve Yzerman, a Hall of Famer, a franchise legend, couldn't finish this rebuild, what makes anyone think an analytics hire off a spreadsheet can? And how long will fans keep paying playoff prices for a team that can't find the playoffs? Nobody knows. Not even the search firm. I need a drink. I need a holiday. And I'm getting just that. Back on the air August 17th. 2-minute warning. Kruger, better not cry since I'm leaving. Sports 1440.
I did not know that Taylor was taking vacations. I did not know that he was allowed vacations. But good for him. I think I do know where he's going, actually. So, Taylor, have fun. I think he got some points there. And, we saw both perspectives. I asked Struddy about it. He said, you're getting an unbiased look. Maybe guys in the organization, there could be some bias. And if you want someone from his management tree, is that the right way to go? But at the same time, you have hockey minds there. We'll find out in 3 years. Well, when the hire is made, who knows? What are they going to do? How are you going to handle Dylan Larkin? I said it once on the roundtable. I don't know. If I'm like a hot shot in the management world and I get this offer, I'm probably taking it, but I'm a little hesitant. Like maybe I hang around my team for another year and wait for a job that opens up. You're never going to get the dream job in the NHL because for the most part, the team's hiring a new GM. Obviously, they're not in a good position, but I don't know. The whole issue with your captain giving you 4 teams he will go to, it just puts you in a really bad position. If I'm the new GM, I'm probably talking to Dylan Larkin. Like, this is my plan. Can we convince you to stay? Is there anything we can do? This is what I want to make happen. But you're doing it in August. The draft is passed. Free agency is passed. It's just not a good situation for the Detroit Red Wings. So I will be very intrigued to see how this works out. That was Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Couple texts coming in here. Titan says, I agree. I think Giancarlo Stanton is on the way out. He'll be short of 500 career home runs. Also, favorite beer is the one my wife stashes on me when I run out or when I think I ran out. Titan, that sounds like a good wife right there. But, preparation is always the key. We had some good ones rolling in here. And, I'm trying to, go back in time, think of the ones that maybe might have slipped through the cracks. The hotel beer is always a good one. I liked the walking down Vegas. But a really good one from Declan was just that beer when you're hanging out with your friends. Maybe you're starting to just have one. They're going down a little smoother, and you're thinking, let's keep this party going. Where should we head out to tonight? Good stuff. Manny says, there it is, Declan, your perfect golf voice. Soft spoken. Next stop, Augusta. Maybe it was for your liner there that you read. That might have been it.
Must have been. Must have been.
You do have a nice, gentle, calming tone when you read those things.
I appreciate that.
Are you a Ted Lasso guy?
Never seen it. I'm sure I would like it, though.
You should. The new season's out.
I like football, and I like soccer, and I like TV, and I like comedy, so
it
seems like an obvious one for me to get into.
Do you like to feel good as well?
I like to feel good.
It just makes you feel good sometimes. It can be maybe a little bit unrealistic, but it'll make you feel good, I think. We had a text coming also from a Double D. Says, hey, guys, any idea when Coulter Woodmansey will be returned from the IR? Deck, you heard anything with Elks Nation?
No.
Nothing?
But no, let me double check here. Let's not give bad information.
Well, we certainly don't want to give misinformation. His injury was going back to week 1, right?
Yeah.
It was the 6th game IL. And at the time, I recall people saying expected to be a little bit longer than that.
Yep.
We're going into week 10. So that would be a little bit longer, and they could certainly use him at some point sooner than later.
Yeah, he'd like to get him back here in the next couple weeks. I thought Cam Carter played really well in his absence, and then he got benched, and I thought Joe Cooper played fine as well. Neither of them are Coulter Woodmansey, but it's not like they were getting torched at that right guard spot when those two guys were in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe nice to have him get some of that nastiness. Obviously, you paid him a lot, so that would always be good. But yeah, I guess we haven't really heard too many updates. So something we might have to check in coming up here. We'll likely have someone from the Green and Gold on tomorrow. Friday will be a travel day, of course. So that would be tough. But yeah, we'll do some Green and Gold talk tomorrow. And then, like we said, hopefully getting Jason Moss on. And that'll be a fun conversation if we are able to get him. Brad Slater currently working on that. That team, what they've been able to do this year is very impressive. And the quarterback position has been outstanding. When your starting quarterback has only lost 1 regular season game, pretty incredible. And it was to the Edmonton Elks. 14 touchdown passes through the air. He's completing just under 72% of his passes, and he's leading the league in passing yards. That's a good sign. That's certainly going to be a test for the Edmonton Elks secondary, which has been good this year. The defense has been good. Key to it, I think getting Holman, if you can get pressure with 4, not having to bring anyone else in on the blitz is big, but Tyson Philpott, dude's a gamer, as is Tyler Sneed. Deck, former member of the secondary, for you, how tough is this task? Like, Tyson Philpott has been a beast this year.
That was Tyrell Ford was the focus player of the week for me and Eddie, just because of the matchup with Tyson. Like, what he's done, 1,000 yards in 8 games, over 1,000 yards in 8 games, incredible stuff. But on the other hand, you have Tyrell Ford, the best field corner in the CFL. So just an incredible matchup between those two.
Yeah, and you got to make the throw. Ford can take advantage of you if you don't make the throw. We've seen that before. He could probably have a few more interceptions as well. He's dropped a couple, but he could have a couple more as well. That's going to be a really fun matchup, and an all-Canadian matchup as well. Gives it a little more juice. Other games this week I'm looking forward to. Honestly, not that many. Like, we talked about it earlier on the show with JC. Like, Montreal, Edmonton, 2 very good teams, should be a fun one. Saskatchewan is in that top tier. But then I don't really know. Like, will VA go out there and light up Toronto? It's their first game at BMO this year. Maybe that gives the Boatmen a bit of a boost. But it's a 4-4 team taking on a 3-4 team. Friday night, 0-7 Ottawa fired their defensive coordinator. That'll give them a bump, I think, but it's not enough. I think the Riders will handle their business at home. And then you got the 3-5 Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the 2-5 BC Lions. Nathan Rourke returns. That's huge. We saw Xander Horvath, Chargers legend, pop off last game, 190 yards. I would think you want to make sure you get him involved in the run game, but they've got a couple of good running backs. I'm thinking, I'm hoping for the best, and there could be some competitive games, but all in all, I think the game of the week will once again include the Edmonton Elks as they take on the Montreal Alouettes. So before we wrap up, you've got to thank all of our guests for joining us on the show today. JC Abbott of 3downnation.com, Paul Sir from Hoop City joined us, taking a look at the CEBL and the association. We had Steven Ellis joining us from Daily Faceoff as we looked at the Hlinka Gretzky. I don't know if we got that game, the score for Canada getting going about 45 minutes ago. Jen Mueller, Seattle Seahawks sideline reporter, was on the program. We had Jason Strudwick, former NHLer, Spec, and Cam Tate's 2-minute warning plus stats of the day. The roundtable was very fun today. Got personal, and 5 questions, as always, with Beckman was outstanding. So if you missed it, go check out anywhere you get your podcast from, Google, Spotify, Apple, and then you can always go to YouTube as well. Sports 1440 AM to rewatch the show. Give us a like, give us a sub. We appreciate it all. For everyone here, thank you guys for joining us. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. Fox Sports Radio coming up next. Gazzola live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Right now, one final Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
Scores from the Hlinka Gretzky sees Canada lead Sweden 5-0 at the end of the first period. Finland beat Czechia 5-4 today, and Slovakia over Switzerland 6-2. Around the MLB, the Orioles currently lead the Angels 3-0. A's and Reds tied 1-1 in the top of the fifth. Mets up 3-1 on the Guardians. Phillies up 2-1 on the Nats. Red Sox up 1-0 on the White Sox. Braves leading the Marlins 3-0. And the Pirates, Brewers, Twins, Royals, and Cards, Yankees all tied at 0-0. The Cards and Yankees still in a rain delay in the top of the first. Final stage saw the Jays 5-4 over the Astros in 10. The Cubs 7-6 over the Dodgers. Rangers 6-0 over the Giants. And the Rays beating the Rockies 4-0. From around the sporting world, Felix Auger-Aliassime withdrawing from the National Bank Open due to a back injury. Aaron Donald officially working out for the LA Rams today. And Steph Diggs signing a 1-year deal with the Commanders. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6.